James, Anthony Davis, and the defending champion Lakers face the White Letters, Paul George and the Clippers. James drives, puts it up with an emphatic right hand. Quickly to the three and hit again.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WINT 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
It definitely does not feel like Christmas outside or Christmas time or anything. In fact, it feels like almost spring out. It's beautiful outside. It was really depressing on the short walk from my car to the door here to the studios today.
It's golf weather. It's your weather.
Exactly. That's where I should be right now. But no, it is beautiful out, and we appreciate everyone taking time and hanging out with us here this afternoon on a Friday. How about that? This week flew by. Happy Friday. I hope everyone has some big fun plans for the weekend. Safe, of course. That's all that matters at this point. But we're getting closer and closer to figuring out who the Final Four is going to be in the college football playoff. We've spent a lot of time on that this week, and we're going to be spending a lot of time on that here in the coming weeks as things start to shape out a little bit. Dabo Swinney, everyone's second favorite coach behind Ryan Day, I'm sure, had some interesting comments to them. He was on the Rich Eisen show earlier this afternoon. Dabo Swinney was asked if he was on the committee, if he was on the college football playoff committee, would he select, how would he view a team like Ohio State with only 6 games versus a team like Texas A&M, who is going to be playing 10 to 11 games, who will have 1 loss? Florida is going to play 10 games. They'll have 1 loss, potentially 2. And Dabo Swinney, of course, irked many. Dabo Swinney doesn't know what coaches talk is, apparently. Most coaches will just say, look, I'm only focused on my team right now. I'm not on the committee, and I just want to focus on my team. But Dabo Swinney talked. He opened his mouth, and it was like throwing gas onto fire. I mean, it was unbelievable, the reaction on social media today. So Dabo Swinney was asked about it. He said that he would have a hard time if he was on the committee voting to put Ohio State and selecting Ohio State to make the college football playoff as 6-0 Big Ten champions, because he said he would have a hard time putting a team that's only played 6 games in over a team like Texas A&M. And even if Florida loses to Alabama, he said he had a hard time putting them in over Florida, who, again, has more losses because they've played more games, which in essence made them more vulnerable to picking up more losses. It's where Ohio State played significantly less, not just significantly less, almost half the amount of games, played less than half the amount of games that everyone else did. I'm one of those where I always try to look at, before I react to someone saying something, I try to see to kind of what the point is that they're coming across. On Twitter, and I tweeted this out earlier, that the purpose of Twitter.com is to be as angry as you possibly can, to be outraged by absolutely everything. Man, it's a beautiful day out. Not for everybody. How selfish of you to think that everyone's having a beautiful day. Like, that's what Twitter is. And of course, of the entire explanation that Dabo Swinney had for why he believed he would not put a 6-win team or a team that's only played 6 games in over someone else, that's it. It was as simple as, I just don't believe they've played enough games. That's why I wouldn't select him. He did go on to say that they're good enough to be they are one of the top 4 teams in the country. They are good enough to win a national championship. He said those things. But that doesn't fit people's narrative on the angrytwittermob.com. That's not how Twitter works. We got to be angry. We got to make sure that we only find the lines in his entire statement that fit our anger, that fit our narrative. Because when he did say something along the lines of, they're a good team, they're one of the top 4 teams in the country, they are good enough to win a national championship. Oh, no. We got to forget that. We can't give him credit for saying that. No, we got to focus on when he said he would put Texas A&M in, which, by the way, isn't even really in the conversation at this point in regards to that 4th and final spot. Texas A&M would need a lot of help for that to happen, mainly because there's just not a path for them to get there at this point, because it's really between Florida. I mean, like, there would be teams, a lot of dominoes would have to fall. Like, Ohio State would have to lose. Clemson would have to lose again. Bama would have to lose. There would be a lot of heads would have to roll before Texas A&M gets into that conversation. It just wouldn't make sense. So basically where I'm at with all of this is that Dabo Swinney said nothing wrong. he said what he answered the question. Dabo, if you were on the committee, how would you view a team that's only played 6 games? I actually would have a hard time putting them in over teams who have played 10 games. That's a very smart answer. It's actually a very intelligent answer. It actually makes a lot of sense. You don't have to agree with it. I believe Ohio State should be in the playoff, but I wasn't triggered. I wasn't enraged. I wasn't angry. I wasn't ready to go storm Clemson's campus and basically try to get him out of there. That's ridiculous, folks. Like, you hate Dabo for one reason and one reason only, because you can't beat him. That's why Buckeye fans are mad at him. But when he said he would pick a team like Texas A&M or Florida to get in over them, it was strictly because of the amount of games that they have played versus Ohio State. That was it. But I get it. Twitter.com, it's all about the anger. It's all about the rage. It's all about feelings. And Buckeye fans are all up in their feelings today.
You know who should be in their feelings? Bearcats fans, because he went directly to A&M, to Florida. Bearcats are undefeated. Bearcats are 8-0.
Yep.
Bearcats have potential to go 9-0 next week over Tulsa if they can win their conference championship game next week. That's who should be upset here. Ohio State fans shouldn't be upset because the Big Ten has done everything to try to get them into the college football playoff.
Literally. Everything
Everything
that they possibly can.
Yeah, they started the season after they said they wouldn't. They finagled things around to get them in the Big Ten championship game after saying the minimum game was 6 games, now it's 5, and they're in the Big Ten championship game. I was not irked about it because I don't get irked about a lot of things that Dabo says lately. I know that he's a college football coach and he says crazy things. I don't necessarily believe this is way off the mark. I can understand where he's coming from. Like, all right, man, if everybody was playing the same amount of games this season, yeah. But it isn't like Ohio State isn't playing games because they didn't want to. The conference made the decision to postpone the season until the spring, and then they reconvened and said, all right, we're going to play an 8-game schedule. And then they had a couple games canceled due to other people's problems on their campus. They had a game canceled because of COVID issues on their campus and inside their program. And then now their biggest rival has concerns, so they're not going to play 6 games. But guess what? The Big Ten made a way for Ohio State to be in the Big Ten championship game. And if they handle their business, 9 times out of 10, they'll be in the college football playoff, and then they'll be able to prove themselves against Dabo.
Here's the deal. I don't feel bad. You can't. I don't want to do this whole poor Ohio State. They didn't play. It's not their fault. They didn't play enough games. It may not be their fault, but it is the Big Ten's fault. Mm-hmm. And whether we can't do the sympathy thing every time. Oh, poor Buckeyes. Poor nothing. Like, for instance, Clemson. How many games did they end up making up? That technically they didn't even make up the one that they, with Florida State, but they benefited from their conference's rule of, hey, giving them time to make up games at the end. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they would be in the same situation as Ohio State. Right. But hey, they're in a conference that didn't make that rule. So we're playing by the rules of which their conference is governed, and the Big Ten didn't allow makeup or time for makeup games. They had the 21-day rule versus the 10 for other conferences. Clemson also has been impacted by this. They've played without Trevor Lawrence. They went without Trevor Lawrence for 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. All right. They, they've had players miss games left and right. So Clemson's been through it. When people say, oh, who cares what he has to say? For instance, on Facebook right away, Doug Morgan says, it really doesn't matter. It's his opinion. Who cares? It doesn't affect anything. Well, clearly, Doug, that's one thing to say it that way, but clearly his opinion matters, because if it didn't matter, he wouldn't be trending on Twitter all day, and the twitter.com mob would not be calling for his head. So I know what you're saying. Technically, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. He doesn't have a vote, but he has a voice, and it's a strong voice, whether we like it or not. And he's saying what a lot of people that are not sporting the scarlet and gray are thinking and saying at this point. And if you think that's the last you're going to hear that, it is not. We're going to hear even more of that moving forward. That was Ben Hartsock's point on the show yesterday when he was saying, hey, you know what? They're like a WWE heel. The Buckeyes have been turned into this WWE heel, that the second you hear their music crack the speakers, the entire stadium of 12,000 people starts booing them. Well, in football, it's 100,000, but they start booing them. They start getting booed. Yeah, their music hits, all right, and they're met with boos. And Ohio State's walking out, and they're just, they're pumping their chest, and they're just making them even angrier and angrier and angrier. And the bottom line is the teams that know how to embrace that succeed, and the teams that fold under that pressure don't succeed. Alabama's used to being the hated team everywhere that they go. They succeed. Clemson, they were the lovable darling a few years ago. Dabo has been beat up over the last year and a half. I mean, from the things that he has said to just not being very, I would say not being very, I guess what's the word I want to use? Just not very aware of of the times that we're in with certain things that he has said, not very sensitive to a lot of social issues. He's been so he's been kind of exposed now because he was comfortable for the longest time because Ryan Day's in that mode now, or was. Ryan Day was in that mode where people wanted every reason to like him. He could, anything he would do, we like it. Ryan Day's learning now what it's like to be Urban Meyer. Ryan Day's going to be hated moving forward now, not by Buckeye fans, not by us, but Ohio State has to understand that everything moving forward is going to be looked at as, it was being done for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's annoying that that's what people are going to say and think, but how they embrace that is going to be what really leads to them how they're going to finish out this season. That's something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of things about Dabo. One, he's not that lovable guy that he used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, he's not the former walk-on at Alabama that played wide receiver and won the national championship. Like, man, look at that walk-on. He was the third receiver on the national championship team. Oh, man. Then he was a GA, and then he busted his hump, and he was a special teams coordinator at Clemson. Now they promoted him to head coach, and he worked his way up from the bottom, and now they're the national championship. Everybody loves him. Now more spotlight is on you. More you have to play this game of college football and politicking, not only for your program, but shoot for your conference as well. So now you are turning into what everybody couldn't stand about college football. Like, you are turning into Nick Saban. And that's how this game is played. Yep. Eventually, you're in the sport long enough where you turn into the old guy. And that's what's happening right before our eyes with Dabo Swinney. And another thing about what Dabo said is everybody listening to what he said then, you will be a fool. You will be a fool to believe some people that are actually have votes in the college football playoff don't think the same way he does. That's why Ohio State is at 4 right now. That is why Texas A&M is nipping at their heels. This is exactly why, because it's people inside the room that actually do have a vote who do believe that, hey, man, they didn't play enough games. They don't have a large enough sample size to say they should be in the college football playoff. I know it's super easy for every Buckeye fan to say, oh, man, they would have beat Maryland. They would have beat Illinois. But we all thought that they were going to beat Purdue that night, that they threw 75 passes and lost and couldn't tackle Rondale Moore. Like, that's why they play the game. I know that is like super cliche, and I know I say that all the time, but that is exactly why the games are played on the field instead of on paper or instead of on recruiting rankings. You got to go out there and finish and show it. So, like I said, people would be a fool if they didn't believe that some people behind closed doors that actually have votes on the college football playoff don't have the exact same feelings Dabo has about not only Ohio State, but any Big Ten team or any Pac-12 team. They just don't have enough sample size to say that they should be in there. Luckily, Ohio State has a game next week, hopefully. And all this stuff is going to play itself out. And I truly believe that if Ohio State wins and Bama wins, we won't have anything to worry about. We'll be exactly where we want to be in the college football playoff. And then we can improve ourselves.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. The hotline is officially open, 937-457-9464. We are live on Facebook as well. And I know when people say, look, it's, I got that a lot on Twitter today. Who cares what Dabo says? You care.
Yes.
The people who say who cares, you're the one who cares the most, actually. That's what always cracks me. No one cares what he says. It triggered you enough to feel like you had to voice your opinion that nobody cares. You care, because the people that don't care, they read it, and they're like, whatever, and then they keep scrolling. The people that care, stop on it. They read it. They retweet it. They quote tweet it. They share it to Facebook. They cuss out every Clemson fan that they know. They tell you how great Ohio State they should be in, even at 2-0. That's what we do, and that's fine. Fan is short for fanatic. That's what we do. That's why we have jobs. That's why this show exists. That's why every sports show out there exists, because of the passion of sports fans, and that's what makes the college football playoff so fun to talk about, because of the urgency of the situation. Chris Schultz says he's trying to make a case for for his team to make the playoff in case they lose. Chris is right.
They're out.
But Chris is right in regards to he's trying to sprinkle the more games aspect of when he brought up Texas A&M, he knows Texas A&M really doesn't have a shot. Well, they have a shot, but it's a very bleak shot. He's bringing up teams that don't. What? I mean, he brought up Florida. No, he said Florida, even if Florida with 2 losses. He said Florida with 2 losses should get in. The only reason he's bringing up I know they're out of there, Kev. He's kind of advocating for those 2 teams because his team, if they lose to Notre Dame, they could be in the Florida / Texas A&M category of those teams, are probably good enough to be in there, but their losses aren't going to let them be invited to the party. 2 losses for Florida. If Clemson, who's a 10-point favorite, loses to Notre Dame, they're out. But, you're going to start hearing Clemson fans say, well, I mean, the first loss we had was because of that. I mean, if that was the only loss we had, then you wouldn't punish us for that, but you're going to punish us for the second go-round. David Shaw says he's trending on Twitter because the country has gone soft. Look, this is why the 14 playoff exists. It's because of the urgency. Mm-hmm. If this isn't for everyone out there screaming for an 18 playoff, we wouldn't care right now. Right. It would just be like, even if Ohio State's game with who were they? Oh, Michigan. Wow, I forgot who they were supposed to play this past weekend. How dare tomorrow? It's supposed to be that team up north, the biggest rivalry in all of sports. How could I forget? A blowout 30-point favorite game, anyways. But no, it wouldn't matter if Ohio State's 4-0 and 5-0 with the conference championship. Guess what? We don't care. They're getting in the playoff in an 18 playoff. They're getting in probably in the 16 playoff. But this is why 4 is so fun, because of the urgency, because everything matters. That loss all the way back in week whatever it was for Clemson to Notre Dame mattered. That win for Indiana over Ohio, or that win over Indiana weeks and weeks, almost it feels like years ago, that win mattered. Yeah. All right. The win against Penn State, which feels like ages ago, that game mattered. I mean, even every game, every Rutgers matters because of, you gave up 28 points to them. Well, they had their second team in the second half. It doesn't matter. You gave up 20. Those things are going to be critiqued, whether you like it or not. So that's why I like the 14 playoff, because everything is on the table. I still think Ohio State gets in, but I do believe we will be holding our breath until we actually see their name pop up in that final square. I just don't see, Kev, I don't see them keeping Ohio State at number 4 the entire stretch and then the last one bumping them out, because nothing's really changed other than the amount of games that have been played. And as long as Ohio State keeps winning, I just don't see them bumping out a 6-0 Ohio State Big Ten champion team. I just don't. An undefeated non-Big Ten champion, I would be concerned. I'm just not concerned. I'm really not. But Dabo Swinney, he has every right in the world to say what he did, and he's not necessarily wrong. Last point on this, Kev, if the roles were reversed, if Ohio State is sitting at 9-1, about to go into a Big Ten championship game against a very good Penn State or a very good Wisconsin team, and there's a chance that they could lose that game too and it would keep out of the playoff, they're going to be peripherally looking to the side, keeping an eye on what everyone else is doing. And they're going to be saying, we would be saying, well, if Clemson's only played 6 games, there's no way in hell that they should be allowed into the playoff. We would be doing the same thing. So be annoyed, continue hating Dabo, continue hating Clemson, because ultimately what would make all of this even better, Kev, is at the very end, Justin Fields and Ryan Day up on the podium. All the ink from the end zone scattered across the jerseys. Everyone just looks sweaty and tired and they're exhausted, but they're smiling from ear to ear because Ryan Day and Justin Fields are hoisting up that national championship trophy after just beating Clemson in the national title game. That's what you should want. And when you hate that team, it makes it even more sweeter. That's what I can't wait for. So let Clemson talk. They have the right to talk. You would have the right to talk if the roles were reversed. We just got to sit here and be happy that for years we've said everyone's out to get us. They don't want us to succeed. Every domino has been knocked down for Ohio State to succeed. So as you said the other day, it's championship or bust. It's championship or shut up.
It's championship or bust for this team. And they got to get it done. They got to punch their ticket and handle their own business first in the Big Ten championship game. I did want to touch on Texas A&M. They are hovering right there at number 5. I do see a route for them to make it to the college football playoff. And for me, it's pretty simple. It's Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship. Notre Dame wins the ACC championship. And Alabama wins the SEC championship. You have to put a 4th team in there. And that 4th place team hovering right there would be Texas A&M. Unless UC jumps up there and sneaks in through the back door. But I could really see that happening. I know a lot of people out there expecting Clemson to blow the doors off of Notre Dame come next week because Sunshine's going to be back in there, helm in the quarterback position. But I just don't see it that way. I think Notre Dame's going to win that game, to be perfectly honest.
All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We still got a lot more to get into. There was a time change for the tip-off to the Dayton Flyers game tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about that. Obi Toppin, he makes his NBA preseason debut tonight. The New York Knicks against the Detroit Pistons, a 7 p.m. tip-off.
Wow.
Obi Toppin making his NBA preseason debut. We'll get into that coming up around the corner. NFL Week 14 picks. We'll get into the Browns and Ravens once again. The Steelers get one of their big weapons back, Kev. I know that'll make you happy. You'll be pouncing off the walls, all right? Y'all get it? You'll be pouncing off the walls.
Connor and Pouncey back. Maybe you can run the ball.
I said weapons, so you got Pouncey back at least. I said weapons.
Well, Connor averages 3.5 yards a carry as opposed to
Connor's the fat ugly rebound after you lost out on the Le'Veon Bell. I'm just saying.
Hey, he's better than Snell.
29, 31. That's the Steelers rushing ranking the last 3 years.
What's our record?
11-1.
Okay.
You just lost to Washington.
Okay.
I'm just saying. You lost to Washington.
You transfer to properties?
No, that's the worst division in football. The Browns beat Washington.
And the Browns lost to who?
The Steelers.
Okay. That proves transitive properties don't exist.
I mean, but you're bragging about.
I'm just saying.
You're bragging about beating the Browns. You're supposed to.
They're 9-3.
You're supposed to. 9-3. Oh, so the Browns are strong when it comes to trying to defend a good win, but any other time it's. Hey, are you worried about the Browns this week? No, it's the freaking Browns.
No.
Hey, you don't have any good wins this year. We beat the Browns.
You've never heard me say that. You may have heard other people say that, but you've never heard me say that.
All right. We'll be back. We are live on 1410 Wing AM, streaming live at wingam.com. And don't forget, you can watch the show live on social media. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, like the show, follow along. You can also call in at 457-9464. We will be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 60. Tonight's going to be mostly cloudy with rain, a low around 48. And tomorrow will be cloudy and windy with showers, a high near 60. I'm Pete Spyback for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle, with options like blind spot assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Now with IRS Section 179, businesses can be eligible for up to a $25,900 tax deduction. That's up to $5,439 in tax savings.
Options and model availability may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment described as optional. $5,439 tax savings based on 21% federal tax rate and eligibility to claim full $25,900 Section 179 vehicle deduction. Your tax rate and eligibility may vary. Consult your tax advisor for more information. Limits may apply. Visit mbdance.com. Offer valid through December 31st, 2020.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Starting route. Your destination is 0.1 miles away.
If you drive less than
500 feet, turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
If you drive less than 25 miles a day, you could be paying less every day with pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate. You get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but now at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Not applicable in California. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
When running a business, HR issues can kill you. Wrongful termination suits, minimum wage requirements, labor regulations. I'm Alan Jones, founder and CEO of Bambi. I created Bambi specifically for small business. Get a dedicated HR manager, craft HR policy, and maintain compliance for $99 a month. Seriously. Month to month, no hidden fees, cancel anytime.
Go to Bambi.com/CJR to schedule your free HR audit. That's BAM to the BEE.com/CJR.
Friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks. $29.99 for 2 full pounds of friggin' chicken chunks. You get the full sauces too. You get the full sauces too. Full sauces too. Full sauces too. Full sauces too. Friggin' chicken chunks.
Ring in the season with 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is Frickers.
Friggin' chicken chunks, full sauces too. Friggin' chicken chunks, full friggin' pounds. Chicken chunks.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save for driving safely. Save for driving less with pay-per-mile insurance. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. Savings based on early signing, discount drive bys, and mile wise. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Want to make your home a more comfortable place but don't think you can afford it? Carrier has the right solution for every budget. Carrier. Turn to the experts today at 1-800-CARRIER or carrier.com.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, welcoming you back here on a Friday. Happy holidays, everybody. We're excited. Like I said to start the show, it doesn't feel like the Christmassy time of year right now.
At all.
I don't think you were on the show the day that I brought this up. Well, I think it was like the first true snow that we had this year. And I said, I love the first snow, maybe the second one. December, snow all you want. I can handle the cold in December. I can handle the snow in December. I don't mind any of that. I can handle it all. It adds to this Christmas spirit, the Christmas feel. But then come January, it's time to go. So you got to stop yawning. I mean, my God. Like, I know
I
I'm
just
boring
ate.
as
I
hell.
just ate. I got the ice.
What the hell does that have to? You don't even eat unhealthy stuff. Like, I eat wings and fries for lunch. What'd you eat? Like an apple?
No,
Or
I had
a pear? What a
no,
pear?
actually, I
Orange
hit up-
slices.
No, I went to
10
tropical
peanuts.
smoothie.
Oh, typical.
Yeah, I got me a
Rounded up
smoothie,
pears.
smoothie, and what else did I get? I got a cheese quesadilla. Yeah.
Oh. That defeats the purpose, but okay. Gotta do what you gotta do. All right, so coming up around the corner, we'll have more of an update as far as the tip-off change between the Dayton Flyers and Mississippi State, which was supposed to be a noon tip-off tomorrow. In fact, we were supposed to have, we still are, we're just waiting to finalize the details, but we will be live out at Timothy's Bar and Grill tomorrow for the pregame show for the Dayton Flyers and Mississippi State, but we're just ironing out some details now that the tip-off has changed. So we will have more information for you in regards to that coming up. So it's going to be interesting here. This is 2020. Very, last minute changes to tip off times. And sometimes you won't find out that a game's canceled till the morning of. And it's just going to be one of those where you just roll with the punches a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how all of that unfolds. Coming up around the corner, we'll get into our NFL Week 14 picks. Obi Toppin debuts in the NBA tonight. NBA preseason action. The Knicks are at the Pistons. Someone said earlier, that'll be cool to watch Obi and Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard is no longer with the Detroit Pistons.
Clippers.
He is with the Clippers. And luckily, Luke Kennard was able to get a little bit of cash from the Clippers before they gave it all to regular season George. So that's all I got to say about that. But that's still an exciting. I mean, good for Luke.
Oh, for sure,
Good
man.
for Luke, man.
On multiple fronts. I mean, he's living in LA. He's on a team in contention to go to the NBA Finals, playing with a great player like Kawhi Leonard. Good for him, man.
As long as his style of play is perfect for today's NBA. As long as he's still that 3-point threat. I mean, he's going to be that Kyle Korver. He's going to be. Kyle Korver's a way better NBA player, but I mean, again, you still have Luke Kennard, who's very young, so who knows what he's going to develop into. All right, so we opened up the show, 457-9464. We opened up the show with reaction to Dabo Swinney's comments regarding the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, he never really referenced Ohio State. What I thought was cute and adorable of Dabo was he referenced Ohio State as a 6-0 team. That was my favorite part. He goes, well, look, I would pick Texas A&M or Florida over a 6-0 team. We all knew who he was alluding to. He was on the Rich Eisen show. He was asked about, his thoughts on who should be selected number 4 for the teams that are kind of in the hunts there. And Ohio State's a part of that, mainly, not mainly, obviously they're a part of that. They're in the Big Ten title game. They're a 20.5 point favorite against Northwestern. They're going to take care of business. They're going to be 6-0. They're going to be Big Ten champs. I think this should be in. We all know the one thing that we can all agree on, they are one of the top 4 best teams in the country. Mm-hmm. Where the playoff gets a little dicey is that sometimes they try to convince you that it's all about the 4 best teams. And then the next week it's about the resumes. But then they ignore the fact that Indiana is the only other team other than Alabama that actually has 3 top 25 wins. So the top 25 victory parameter is used to justify some teams' rankings over here, but then it's ignored for Indiana and others. And they're very selective. I've always said that the College Football Playoff Committee, they have set up the perfect storm of they give you a bulletin board of criteria, and then they only use select criteria on given weeks. And then when you question them, well, how come you have this team over here? Well, they meet our top 25 victory standards. They meet our strength of schedule standards. They meet our amount of game standards. Well, how about this team over here? They have more than that, but you have them further back. Yeah, well, their strength of schedule is here, and they play more road games. Now they bring up road games. How many road games you play? So that's what I mean is they have all the answers. They could. You ever have that individual? I'm probably that individual in most people's lives that know me that. They irritate the hell out of you because every time you think you catch them on something, they always seem to have the answer for it. Like they always have an answer for it. That's the College Football Playoff Committee. And it's annoying because it's all BS. But again, they're never wrong technically because they've given you the criteria. And every time you question a team like a Iowa State who has 2 losses, what do they tell you? Well, the eye test. The eye test is my favorite. That's their get out of jail free card. The committee's never wrong. There is always enough bullet points to justify putting a team where they put them, whether it's good or bad. Indiana, there's plenty of bullet points to have them way higher, all the way up in the top 10. They have them out of the top 10.
Right.
There's enough bullet points to justify putting them there, but there's also enough bullet points to justify not putting them there. Oh, well, they have a loss. They've already proven they can't beat the good teams, so that's why they're not in the top 10. But didn't Clemson lose to to Notre Dame. Yeah, well, they didn't have other guys, so there's that. So and then, Wisconsin, they don't. Oh no, they don't have enough games in. Oh, okay. So we're just moving the goalposts, as people say, right?
Yes, sir.
So,
that's what happens.
All right, but 457-9464. Your reaction to what Dabo Swinney had to say today about the Ohio State Buckeyes. I love it. I love when Dabo said, let's go back to the Facebook feed here. Phil Lassiter on Facebook says it's bulletin board material for Coach Day and the Buckeyes. Exactly. I love it. I love that Dabo Swinney wasn't afraid to give a non-coach's answer, right? Every time a coach speaks to the media, it's usually a waste of everyone's time because it's just, look, we're really focusing on our team. We're really focusing on getting better. We're not focused on Ohio State or anyone else. We're focused on our team and trying to get to the playoff. That's what coaches usually say. But good for Dabo for giving a truthful answer. I believe Dabo truly believes that. And guess what? So does Nick Saban. So does, every other coach, Ryan Kelly. So does every other coach out there. I promise you that much. 457-9464. Let's go to Shaw. Shaw, you lead us off, man. How are you?
Not too bad. How about you guys?
Good. What's up, man?
Oh, not a whole lot. I don't remember if you guys talked about this aspect of it or not. It kind of correlates with Dabo and everything. But I don't have a problem with what Dabo said. It's actually nice to hear a coach speak how he thought, not what he wanted everybody to the generalization answer that he gives, that most coaches give all the time. So it's kind of nice to actually hear an opinion for once. Two, my problem with Indiana, the argument for Indiana is this, and it kind of goes to Kev's 100% point all the time that he goes to. That's why we play the game. Well, last time I checked, Ohio State beat Indiana. So if they already lost on the field to Ohio State, I'm not understanding the argument for why they should be in the Big Ten title game. I understand what the rule was, but let's just be perfectly honest here. Ohio State could have played anybody in the Big Ten this week, lost, and still went to Indianapolis. Why? Because they beat Indiana on the field. If Indiana wants to actually have a legitimate gripe with me, and I understand it's my opinion, with me, then beat Ohio State on the field. Quit with this, we played more games and what? No, beat them on the field, and then you'll have a legit argument.
Yeah, but you're moving the goalpost there because they're not really arguing that for say. They're arguing that, hey, the rule was you got to play 6 games, and Ohio State didn't play 6 games. And I get the whole point of we'll beat them on the field, but the bottom line is okay, they didn't. They lost by 7. They lost by possession. If there is such thing as a good loss, it's actually the most impressive loss of any team out there that's lost a game outside of Clemson to Notre Dame. But Indiana played the right amount of games to be eligible for the Big Ten title game. Ohio State didn't. They changed the rules to benefit Ohio State, which I'm fine with because, again, I want Ohio State to get there, but I have no problem with Indiana being upset. I don't think they're necessarily saying, hey, we deserve to be there over Ohio State even though we lost. They're just saying, hey, we all voted upon this to start the season. We said it had to be at least 6 games, and now because the team that they were, their money-making team's not the one that's going to get there, now all of a sudden we want to panic and change it. I can see why they're upset. You're not necessarily wrong, Shaw. I'm just saying, I don't think they're really trying to argue that they're more deserving of being there than Ohio State. They're just trying to say that based on the rule, it's not that they're most deserving. They should be there. That's the rule. The rule states they should be the ones being there. Well, the rule before, because it's been changed now. So, yeah.
I just think the Big Ten finally, once this season, finally used some logic in their determination of what's going on.
But Shaw, what if Ohio State and Indiana played? Ohio State beat Indiana, and Indiana's 5-1, and Ohio State's 2-0.
There's no question.
No question. What? So 2-0, Ohio State should be in?
No, I mean Indiana.
Well, what's the threshold of games that's just blasphemous to consider total minimum game requirement? So 2 games. So I keep hearing that minimum, and I'm not arguing with you per se, but the logic is that the minimum game requirement was stupid. It was not stupid. It was actually very intelligent. It was very smart. You needed one in there because if not, let's say Ohio State got 2 games in this year. They beat Penn State and they beat Indiana, and they couldn't get any game in for the rest of the season. They're 2-0. Indiana is 5-1. Their only loss being to Ohio State while they beat all the other teams that they already have. Would we be saying the same thing? I think we would, because we all know Ohio State's better. We would still be making the same arguments, but I don't think the Big Ten could change the rule based on Ohio State only playing 2 games, right?
That I understand. That I completely agree with you, and I get that. But I think what they all sat there and said was they could play a game this week and lose and still go to the Big Ten championship game. Mm-hmm. And I understand they're putting the risk out there. They could get Fields could get hurt, or someone could get, or they're playing with the COVID protocols, and understand. And I get all that aspect of it. And I guess I'm trying to fight the line on both sides of the line. And I would be ripping my butt too if I was hearing this on the other side. But my thing is, as soon as I figured out that they could play anybody in the Big Ten this week, lose, and still go to Indianapolis, it completely changed my mind.
But it shouldn't change your mind, because the thing is, yes, they could technically based on the head-to-head, but they couldn't because the rule stated they couldn't. The rule said you didn't play enough games to go. They changed the rule. Like, people are choosing what rules they want to use to fit their narrative. And again, Shaw, I'm not saying you are thinking wrong here. My point is that we are falling in the trap of thinking that the rule that we want to be correct to benefit our team is the right one, and all other rules are dumb. The minimum game requirement was put into place to keep a situation happening from the example I just set. If Ohio State's 2-0 and one of those wins is against Indiana, would we still be making the same arguments, Kev? Probably.
It would feel even worse than it already does, to be perfectly honest.
But why wouldn't they do it? Oh, because, they've only played 2 games. Well, you only played 5 games. Right. Indiana played 6. You voted, Gene Smith, your athletic director, voted on the minimum game requirement. So I'm getting annoyed with, and it's national media too, that keeps ripping the Big Ten for this minimum games rule. You had to have one. What if Ohio State only got 1 game in this year? What, they're 1-0 and it's against Indiana? Oh, well, no, that's different. Well, how is it different? It's a minimum game, right? So are you saying that the minimum game rule is dumb? Well, what if they only played 2 games? Oh, well, that's different. So if the minimum game rule is 2, so are you mad that the minimum game is at 6, or what was the magic number that was going to keep people happy? The magic number was whatever number Ohio State needed to play to be able to play in the Big Ten title game. It's okay to just say, hey, you know what? We're Ohio State. That's why. You know, your parents always say, but why? But why? I don't get the logic. My mom and dad, they have no clue what they're talking about. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. The why, because we said so. Well, that's what we got to do here, because Ohio State said so. It's that simple. Who do we got? Let's go to Aaron. Aaron, thanks for holding. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah.
So one thing, I guess, before I jump into the Big Ten and all that, hearing Hart talk on the radio yesterday, and you guys played it, hearing Dabo, at the end of the day, everything was greased for the ACC to have this matchup with Notre Dame and Clemson the second time. They made some changes as well. Granted, not nearly on the scale that the Big Ten has just fluffed this whole thing, but ultimately there was some movement for the ACC as well on some of their things. So, what's good, Dabo's always been one of those guys where what's good for me is what's good for me, and that's really the bottom line. And I think that last year, the game between us, it made him, he's not dumb. He knows that he's going to have one hell of a time trying to beat Ohio State this year if there's a semifinal between Clemson and Ohio State. And so from that aspect, he's smart because he's lobbying like he always does, like Nick Saban used to do. We need that. These are the teams. So from that perspective, pipe down, Dabo, is the way I feel about that.
I like that. Pipe down, Dabo.
Because he is, though. That he's been known to be that way. He's a whiner. I mean, those are all pretty well-known things.
And Saban does it for his team late. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll argue a lot of things late. And it's just annoying because we hate those teams and we hate those coaches. But ultimately, I would hope Ryan Day, to be honest, though, when we hear Ryan Day speak out on our behalf, we're like, yeah, that's a leader. That's Ryan Day. He's speaking out for his team. And we love it. And I promise you, Clemson fans are like, Ryan Day, shut up. Who the hell are you? You haven't done anything. So there's, you know what I mean? Like, we just can't stand any coach that's not our own. But that's what adds to the fuel to the fire of the rivalry. And that's what's fun about it. And I really do hope that the 2 play in the playoff. I really do hope it ends up in the playoff.
I really do too. That way, you know what? The talk can be done
on the field.
Let's get it done on the field.
Yep.
So I'm for that. Now, my second point is that the Big Ten, we all know, screwed this up. But the reason the Big Ten put a 6-game limit on there is because the NCAA has no say-so in the college football playoff, so they couldn't dictate whether or not 6 games, 7 games, or any of that was the case. The Big Ten punted on the beginning of the season. Then when all of a sudden it was, hey, we're going to play, all the national pundits began talking, well, what's the minimum? What's the minimum you should be able to play to get into the college football playoff? Had there been an actual governing body that sat down and said, this is it, and that's what you got to do, then that's the way it would have been. But they didn't, and they allowed all these conferences to do what they wanted to do, what they saw fit, and it left the Big Ten in a spot where it said, well, we know we've got at least one team good enough to get into the playoff, maybe 2 when Wisconsin was, overrated. But ultimately that was the situation the Big Ten was left in. So, to me, as much as everyone says the Big Ten is the Big Ten, this is just another example of where the NCAA is garbage. And the only thing they truly care about is how much money is going to get put in my pocket. Same as the Big Ten, which is why they made this move. How much money is going to get put in our pockets? And, it's just another gross example of how college athletics is not about getting at the education and winning one for the Gipper. It's how many butts can we put in the seats and how many
it's about the money at the end. And Aaron, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it. And I definitely agree with your take on that, especially the NCAA. The NCAA passed the buck on this because the NCAA is like, well, do we really need to pull all of our hair out and come up with an idea for how all these teams are going to play? Or we'll just let all the individual governing bodies come up with their own rules. They'll figure it out. Because guess what, folks? The NCAA, they're going to make money off that Final Four, right? So that's all that matters. So at the end of the day, for them, it's like, well, we didn't have to do. They're like they're going to get an A+ on their final project, and they didn't help at all. So they're the ones that don't show up to class for the group project all semester long, and then they show up on finals day, and then they get the A. That's
Good
what
job, guys.
That's what the NCAA is doing. They're not going to help at all in regards to developing testing plans, developing safety protocol, developing game day, personnel as far as protocols concerned. They're not going to help out at all. They want everyone to go through the hell that all these conferences have gone through to try to get through this season, and then on the selection Sunday, here's your Final Four. Here's your college football playoff. Here's your national champion. There's going to be the NCAA right there. Look what we did. Look what we
made it through, guys.
I hate that guy. And that's the NCAA. Aaron, that's a great point. All right, folks, we appreciate you listening and hanging out with us here. We're going to take another breather. For those of you that believed ESPN was always anti-Ohio State before because they were in bed with the SEC, well, Ohio State doesn't stand a chance then moving forward. The SEC had a huge announcement regarding ESPN yesterday as we were closing out the show. We'll discuss what that changes for the SEC and ESPN moving forward. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
Merry Christmas. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM.
It's auction time again in North Lima, Ohio with home improvement products and building materials, and it's all online, ending this Tuesday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products online. Kitchens, flooring, Anderson windows and doors, decking, unclaimed freight, and more, all sold online at pbauctions.com. Auction ends this Tuesday at noon, so we'll see you online at the auction.
This is your last chance to give a great holiday gift, but time is ticking. Luckily for you, Dell has amazing savings on XPS and Alienware computers with Intel Core processors. There are also deals on an incredible selection of the best electronics brands like Samsung, all with free shipping on everything. If you get moving today, you can get great gifts under the tree in time. Just call 800-BUY-DELL. That's 800-BUY-DELL.
At JCPenney's Mystery Sale, merry savings await this Thursday to Sunday. So hurry in to find out how much you can save. You could get a Peel and Reveal coupon for an extra 30, 40, or even 50% off in our in-store giveaway. Use it to save on family outerwear, cozy sleepwear, and more. And everyone gets an extra 30% off at jcp.com. Need it fast? Pick up your order curbside. Joy, comfort, peace. JCPenney. Coupon valid 12/10 to 12/13. Giveaway in-store only while supplies last. Must be 18 or older. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Give the gift of a Dayton tradition. Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps. Milano's gift cards are the perfect way to give good times and those favorite subs and pizza to family and friends. Right now, for each $25 Milano's gift card you buy, you'll get $5 more free.
At Encova Insurance, we're committed to leaving a lasting impression in all communities we serve. We support local causes that mirror the values and interests of our associates, agents, and policyholders. We partner with organizations that are dedicated to improving lives. We are committed to building something greater than ourselves, encircling our communities with strength and support. We are Encova Insurance. Learn more at encova.com.
Save today on your next project at Menards, your home improvement store. Give your home a new look with Shaw Vinyl Plank Flooring. Manor Hill is waterproof, features an attached pad and clicks together for an easy installation. It's durable, making it perfect for any room in your home. Only $249 per square foot. Save on your next project now at Menards. Good through December 20th. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
More seasons, 360 you all from Menards.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
Mel Gibson is Santa, as you've never seen him. Rent Fat Man, now available at Redbox. To save his declining business, Kris Kringle is forced into a partnership with the U.S. military. He's also locked in a deadly battle of wits against a highly skilled assassin hired by a vengeful 12-year-old boy who believed he deserved better than coal in his stocking. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear jolly old Saint Nick isn't someone you want to mess with. Watch Fat Man, starring Mel Gibson, and make it a Redbox night. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Don't miss the only weekly hour of radio dedicated to Dayton Flyers basketball. It's Talking Out Loud, hosted by Sully. Thursday nights at 6 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, and online at wingam.com.
Indoor baseball, anyone? Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you practice how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely, like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
Oh, what? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company's missing out on.
Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
The radio in your dash is more than radio. That SiriusXM button is instant access to a world of exclusive entertainment, including ad-free music channels for every genre and decade. You can also hear your favorite sports, comedy, talk, and news. Plus, you can stream with the SiriusXM app on your phone and connected home devices. And there's never been a better time to listen. Subscribe now and get your first 12 months for $5 a month with a new select subscription. Fees and taxes apply. Go to SiriusXM.com to learn more.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick! Sorry, kids! Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision. Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time. This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One and a member FDIC.
When running a business, HR issues can kill you. Wrongful termination suits, minimum wage requirements, labor regulations. I'm Alan Jones, founder and CEO of Bambi. I created Bambi specifically for small business. Get a dedicated HR manager, craft HR policy, and maintain compliance for $99 a month. Seriously. Month to month, no hidden fees, cancel anytime.
Go to Bambi.com/CJR to schedule your free HR audit. That's BAM to the BEE.com/CJR.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package. We'll change the oil and filter, rotate the tires, check the brakes, test the battery, and check all the fluids and filters. Still starting at just $39.95. And ask us about our double take tire specials. Goodyear, Michelin, BF Goodrich, Kelly, and other quality tires. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. A.J. Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Congratulations, by the way, to Eric Curtis. He was the winner of yesterday's Marty Brenneman commemorative microphone Hall of Fame induction giveaway that we did. Congratulations to Eric Curtis once again. And so yesterday what we did is we had everyone who was listening go to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, and to like the show page and share the live video feed. And everyone that did that was automatically enrolled to potentially be drawn to win a Marty Brenneman commemorative microphone. Well, we have another one, and we're going to do it again. So head to Facebook. All right, head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show. You must like the page and then share the live video feed. That's how you become eligible to win it. If you enrolled yesterday, it's fine. You're automatically going to be put into the random drawing. So all you got to do is make sure that you are sharing. But yes, Eric Curtis, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you liking the show page and sharing the live video feed. And Eric's going to be getting this commemorative microphone signed by Marty Brenneman. We do have another one. That's what we're doing now. So if you're listening, head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show. Share the live video feed. Make sure you like the page, of course. You know, that's always what you have to do. So go do that. Go do it right now. Right now, I tell you, it's either something that you keep for yourself or it'd be a really cool Christmas gift for someone right around. Aha. So there's that. All right, the Justin Kinner Show, Hour 2. Shout out, of course, to our friend over at Milano's, Larry. I thought he was mad at me the other day. See, this is the problem. I love Larry, but he he gets mad at me because I beat up on his Bengals too much, and I'm not the most rah Buckeye guy out there. Like I try to keep it down the middle a little bit. I don't fall into that fanatic range where I'm like Ohio State's always right and everyone else is always wrong. So I anger a lot of people, and I could tell he can forgive. So I've learned something about Larry is I could beat up on his Bengals, and he's pretty realistic about the Bengals. He's like, man, I wish you would stop, but it's kind of hard to defend the Bengals. But I could tell I irk him on Facebook about Ohio State. Like that's where he draws the line, and I totally respect that, and I love that passion, and I love him even more because he brings us Milano's every week, and he brought us some Italian garlic bread with pepperoni on it. How about that? So you get some buffalo wings, the hot barbecue buffalo wings, and a ham grinder. By the way, that's mine, just so you know.
I wanted the wings anyway.
You can have. No, I want at least one of the wings. But I'm telling you right now, what I love about their menu is if you want pizza, they have pizza. If you want wings, they have wings. They have subs. They have absolutely everything you could think about there. So I'm telling you right now, that's the place to go when you are thinking about dinner plans for tonight. So make Milano's your dinner time stop here tonight when you're thinking about what to get the family for supper. Do you call it supper or dinner?
Dinner. Supper.
I know some people. Yeah, I'm like, what's for supper? I'm like, what's supper? What's supper? Huh? I know a lot of people.
The 1940s.
No, but I know a lot of people
too.
Beaver. But some people call lunch dinner and dinner supper.
Wait, this is all news to me.
It's also Kev's one of those narrow-minded folks who, if it ain't done his way, it's just wrong.
No.
You never heard those people.
I've never heard that before. Some people call lunch dinner.
Yeah.
I've never heard that ever in my life.
I'm from Hee Haw Country Town, about 2 hours north.
Those are your words.
So I'm just saying, everything's done differently over there. So I'm just saying, that could be what it is. I don't know. Just saying.
I'm googling that right now.
Google it. We need our Alexa in here because is Alexa smart enough to answer questions like that, or is that only a Google thing?
That's a Google machine thing.
Or hey Siri. Hey Siri. By the way, I like doing that every once in a while because I'll be listening to the radio. If someone says Siri, my phone will go off. So I like doing that because if people are in their car or something, I'm hoping to make their phone. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. I'm hoping I'm making some of your phones go off right now because that is the funniest thing with that. Oh, that's
iPad. Your phone.
That's my iPad. Yeah. Stop talking. Okay. Anyways, where are we going with this? My ADDs. Let's go back to the phones. They'll regather us here. 457-9464. Let's go to Reggie. Reggie, how are you? Go Browns. Go Browns. Go. Listen to that. There's a big difference in the excitement in your voice here in Week 14 than just even 6 weeks ago. Good for you, Reggie. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. So my thing is, what I'm calling about is basically with the whole Ohio State, type debacle. If you look at it in hindsight, that they changed the rule for them and everything. Yeah, Indiana is kind of pissed about it, but you look at Ohio State could have gotten another game this week, but they didn't want to shuffle the schedule around of trying to get them that sixth game, because they could have easily done that. They could have had a sixth game this week, and they decided not to shuffle the schedule around. Of course, they wasn't going to do Ohio State, Indiana too, because they already played. So they could have easily had them make up the Maryland game. They could have shuffled them around, whoever Maryland was playing. They could have shuffled them around and had them play Ohio State easily enough. But the whole high aspect of it is, yes, it's about getting Ohio State in, but you look at it, the conference is looking more of a hindsight for the playoff. That's what they're looking at, because right now they see, okay, Ohio State's 4, but there's a possibility they could end up being 3 or even 2, depending on the situation with championship weekend. Because who look at it now? Who look at it? And I said this a couple times on Facebook, and neither one of y'all even answered this. What if Clemson ends up with 2 losses?
They're out.
But here's the funny thing. Since Clemson seems to be their team all buddy, they might say, "Oh, we'll just go ahead and keep Clemson, man. They can end up being number 4."
Why do you say that they're being all buddy? Like I don't get that. Like Clemson's legit. Like Clemson's really good.
Themselves, the committee themselves will do that. They will find a way to keep Dabo happy. And
if they find a way to keep Dabo happy, I think they've earned that. I mean, they've won how many national titles in the last 5 years? Now, I don't believe that that's going to be the case. Like, Clemson's legit. They're lost. They have a legit reason why they lost. But if they lose a second time, Reggie, they're not getting in. The committee has never shown a favor to 2-loss teams in the history of the playoff, and it's even in its infancy stages. So I don't think that they would bend the rule not really a rule, but I don't think that they would. They're not going to reward Clemson with a second loss and let them in. I just don't see that happening. I mean, now you can, and that's fair. That's you.
No. I wouldn't. I feel like shit. I feel like if they lose,
I think you had every right to do it. I think he said it, and I think those on Facebook, if you're listening on the stream, it doesn't cut out. But LSU did not have 2 losses. A 2-loss team has never made the playoff.
No, that was in the BCS era that LSU had 2 losses.
But Chris, come on now. Why would you bring up something that had nothing to do with the college football playoff? We're talking about the playoff. The committee has never let a 2-loss team in the playoff. Now, I mean, okay, to be fair to Chris, though, the fact that they let a 2-loss team all the way advance to a national championship game without having to go through a playoff, was that enough there to maybe think that they would do it come playoff time? I don't see that.
Well,
fair, Chris. That's my bad. Fair enough.
Remember, in the BCS era, those are computer polls, and I think something that we always forget when. Granted, that was like, I want to say almost 10, 15 years ago by now that happened. But we kind of like forget how the dominoes fall for that type of situation to happen. Certain things have to happen. I remember
late season things.
Yeah,
like
late season things. Like I went to the Ohio State Michigan game when the year that they end up playing LSU in the national championship game. I remember going to that game because Ohio State had lost to Illinois, I believe, that season. And everybody was gearing up to go to the Rose Bowl. I remember after the game, it was a rainy, soggy game. Beanie had like almost 200 yards rushing. And after the game, hey, we're going to the Rose Bowl. They're passing out roses. The final week played itself out, and boom, Ohio State's the number 1 team in the country because so many dominoes have fell, and other dominoes fell, especially in the SEC, catapulting LSU into the SEC championship game, which they end up winning, which bumped them all the way up to number 2. So I think we have revisionist history when it comes to like looking at the past. Like, we forget like certain things had to happen. Like the season plays out. Like I keep talking about, like this season's going to play out, and we're going to see how the dominoes fall. Like I keep saying, like, well, if Alabama wins and Notre Dame wins and Ohio State wins, who's going to get that 4th spot? And then 10 years from today, if, I don't know, Clemson gets in that 4th spot, we'll forget that, like, oh yeah, Texas A&M lost their last game of the season. Oh yeah, UC lost to Tulsa in their conference championship game. That's why Clemson got into the game. We'll only worry about what the actual result was. So we have to always remember what happened to lead to those things.
Yeah, and there was a stretch where we said there's just no way that the committee will let a non-conference champion in, and we've seen it happen twice. With Notre Dame, who doesn't even have a conference champion, and of course Ohio State being the other team that has been let in. And now once that narrative was debunked and proven that the committee will make exceptions for, the next one that we're discussing now is, when will we ever see, not that I'm fighting for it, I don't really want to see a 2-loss team get in, but let's be clear, when we say, oh, they let a 2-loss team in that year, everything is situational. A 2-loss team, if they ever make a 4-team college football playoff, it's going to be because, and it could be this year, mainly because let's say, okay, Alabama beats Florida, and let's say Notre Dame beats Clemson. All right, that's Notre Dame and Alabama's in for sure. You would think Ohio State's in for sure. Now who gets that 4th spot? Is it a 1-loss Mississippi? I'm sorry. Is it a 1-loss Texas A&M team? Right? Like, I mean, do you finally just cave and give Cincinnati the pity party invite? Do you give them a pity party invite? Because let's be clear, Bearcats fans, you may not like this to hear this, but if that scenario presents itself, Kev, like let's say that Ohio State let's say that Alabama beats Florida, which I don't think that's really a hot take. I think that is very realistic. Let's say Notre Dame beats Clemson and they're totally out. I think this is the year where the committee says, look, we have to put Cincinnati in. I mean, yes, we probably could put a 2-loss Clemson team back in the playoff. We probably could put a 2-loss Florida team in. We could probably put a non-SEC champion Texas A&M in. But I think we need to put Cincinnati in. So that way, moving forward, we know we're never going to do it again moving forward. But at least this is the year we could check it off and say, oh, no, you can't say that we don't show favor to the small teams. We put them in that year. Like, that's what Cincinnati has that going for them, where they might get the pity party invite. And it may sound like I'm trolling them, but I'm not. I think that's just the reality of it. You have to admit to yourself deep down, even if you're a big Bearcat fan, if they get invited, it will be a pity party invite, because I think that the committee will use that moving forward to say, hey, you can't say we don't, help the small guys. We let Cincinnati in the playoff last year, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, this will be the pity party year for Cincinnati if they get the invite, if that opportunity presents itself. So we'll see.
It's a shame we've been doing this show that long that I knew you were about to say that. This was the 2007 season that I'm talking about, with LSU won the national championship. And I remember this year vividly because it was the year of the curse of number 2. The last 5 weeks of the season, the number 2 team lost every single week, starting with Stanford beating USC, Oregon State beating Cal, Rutgers beating South Florida, Florida State beating number 2 Boston College, Arizona beating number 2 Oregon. See, like, these dominoes just started falling, and that's how these teams catapult. Like, if somebody
chaos.
Yeah, these things happen. They just don't happen because they want them to. The games play out. That's what makes college football so great, and that's what makes this season so unique. We're not seeing those upsets because, one, it's a COVID year. People are totally checked out. Guys are opting out. Coaches are opting out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't foresee like, we have one last regular season going on in the SEC. I don't foresee upsets happening. Like, I see the only things that's going to happen is we're going to get our mapped out conference championship game that we have with Alabama and Florida next week. Your ACC championship game with LSU, with Notre Dame and Clemson, and obviously that Big Ten finale with Ohio State and Northwestern. I really see all the favorite teams winning, to be perfectly honest, outside of Notre Dame and Clemson. I really think Notre Dame's going to win that game.
How ironic is it, by the way, that Notre Dame, for them to secure a spot in the playoff, that it comes down to winning a conference championship? It's funny how this year, all of a sudden, we're going to say, oh, it was a conference championship that got Notre Dame into the college football playoff. Like, they could lose, but then that would be twice that Notre Dame makes it without winning a conference championship at the same time. Like, they have to, they're not in regardless. Like, they have to lose. If they're going to lose, it needs to be close.
Yeah,
and
I don't think
if Clemson covers the 10-point spread, by the way, they shouldn't get in. I believe it needs to be one possession. If Notre Dame lose by a possession, you're in. But I think 10 or more, nope.
Wow. They've been number 2 all season.
And?
Then who gets that 4th spot?
Like so you're saying what? So 14 points, 17. What point differential does it become? Okay, you're not a top 14.
I really think the committee has to watch the game. Like if Clemson is up 7 on the last drive and Notre Dame's trying to score to tie the game up and they throw a pick 6 with zeros on the clock, they lost by 14. That's not the same as, oh man, Clemson was up 42-10 and Notre Dame just rallied and scored a whole bunch of touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Those are two totally different 14-point losses. You know what I'm saying? So I think you actually have to watch the game and see how the game plays out.
All right, let's go to the phones. Charlie, thanks for holding. Charlie will call back, I'm sure, whenever I bring up Baker Mayfield here in a little bit.
No, that was Charles. That wasn't me.
Charles. Oh, well, Charlie. Shout out to Charlie. Look at that.
He'll be calling in a second now.
All right, everybody. It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash. So tonight, Obi Toppin will be making his NBA preseason debut. You'll have the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons, 7 o'clock, the tip-off, and I'm pretty excited for that. This is the most excited for a preseason game I've been in for quite some time, and that'll be tonight at 7 o'clock, so keep that in mind. Now, what also happened was the NBA put out their top 10 NBA player list of the season. Now, you made your top 10 list.
Indeed.
I made my top 10 list. We'll get to that. We got our NFL picks around the corner for Week 14. Make sure you get your picks submitted at wingam.com for the Pro Football NFL Pick'em Challenge presented by Frickers. So go get your picks submitted right now. Again, $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks awarded to the weekly round winners. Even if you haven't submitted picks in weeks past, this is new to you, that's fine. Go to wingam.com. It is free to register, submit your picks. I mean, the only thing that you have to spend is, well, just a few moments of your time to get your picks submitted. If you win, you get $25 in Frickers Bucks. So it is that simple. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 60. Tonight's going to be mostly cloudy with rain, a low around 48. And tomorrow will be cloudy and windy with showers, a high near 60. I'm Pete Spyback for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
As a professional painter, you're only as good as your last job. Make it count with Behr Pro i300 interior paint from the Home Depot, starting at just $15.99 a gallon. And that's before the Pro Extra discount. You get superior hide and coverage, fast, easy application with a sprayer, roller, or brush, and you'll make sure your next job is your best job. Behr Pro i300 interior paint, starting at just $15.99 a gallon. Now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available in-store and online.
Napa know-how. Nothing causes holiday stress like the words, some assembly required. Well, Napa's here to help with an Evercraft 100-piece screwdriver set for just $19.99. So no matter what Santa and his elves leave for you to put together, you'll be prepared. So save on the Evercraft 100-piece screwdriver set and other great tools from Napa. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations while supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/20.
No one likes going to the grocery store, especially during the holidays. That's why you need ButcherBox. ButcherBox ships high-quality meat right to your door. And they partner with folks who prioritize caring for animals, the environment, and sustainability. And listen up because you need to hear what I'm about to say. For a limited time, new members can get a free pack of bacon in every box for the life of their membership when they sign up at butcherbox.com/CJR. That's butcherbox.com/CJR. Go get that bacon.
Want to hear how I almost got off the naughty list this year? I helped Santa save gazillions by having him download Capital One Shopping to his computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. You can download it too and save a bundle. You don't even need a Capital One card, and it's free. So why didn't I get off the naughty list? Turns out Santa's a stickler for naughty words. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Home for the holidays, taking on a new meaning this year. Whatever your plans to celebrate, First Florist and Greenhouses can brighten your home with the holiday spirit. For gourmet baskets, holiday decorations, seasonal plants, and fresh cut flowers, your best choice is Dayton's largest family-owned florist and greenhouses. In business at the same location since 1905. First Florist and Greenhouses. In-store shopping at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton. Curbside pickup and convenient online shopping. Visit us at firsttheflorist.com. That's FURST, theflorist.com.
At Milano's, we make the food that brings friends and family together. Invite Milano's to your party with easy online ordering, fast delivery, our quick pickup carryout station, and full catering menu. Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps. Celebrate the season.
It's auction time again in North Lima, Ohio with home improvement products and building materials, and it's all online, ending this Tuesday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products online. Kitchens, flooring, Anderson windows and doors, decking, unclaimed freight, and more, all sold online at pbauctions.com. Auction ends this Tuesday at noon, so we'll see you online at the auction.
This is your last chance to give a great holiday gift, but time is ticking. Luckily for you, Dell has amazing savings on XP computers with Intel Core processors. There are also deals on an incredible selection of the best electronics brands like Samsung, all with free shipping on everything. If you get moving today, you can get great gifts under the tree in time. Just call 800-BY-DELL. That's 800-BY-DELL.
At JCPenney's Mystery Sale, merry savings await this Thursday to Sunday. So hurry in to find out how much you can save. You could get a Peel and Reveal coupon for an extra 30, 40, or even 50% off in our in-store giveaway. Use it to save on family outerwear, cozy sleepwear, and more. And everyone gets an extra 30% off at jcp.com. Need it fast? Pick up your order curbside. Joy, comfort, peace. JCPenney. Coupon valid 12/10 to 12/13. Giveaway in-store only while supplies last. Must be 18 or older. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
What's in store this holiday at Staples?
Gifts and packages shipped with care.
So you can relax knowing they'll soon be there.
Now at Staples, save 25% on UPS expedited shipping services.
Plus, take up to 30% off select shipping supplies like boxes, tape, and padded mailers.
Shop in store or get it same day with Instacart.
And save on holiday shipping at Staples.
In store only. Offers end 1/2/21. See store for details. Instacart not available on shipping services. Fees, taxes, additional terms, and/or tips may apply. Delivery subject to availability.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like Taylor Swift choosing what to wear.
It's looking kind of chilly out today. I think I'll go with a cardigan.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Staples has great deals on hot brands and must-have gifts for working or learning from home. Shop in-store or pick up curbside at most stores. There's a whole lot in store this holiday at Staples.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kinner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Playoffs?
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. As I mentioned, the NBA preseason officially tips off tonight. Now you're probably saying, who cares? I think that there's a lot of people that now care about the NBA more so this year than they have in years past, mainly because Dayton's own Obi Toppin is making his debut in the NBA tonight, his preseason debut with the New York Knicks. The Knicks are taking on the Detroit Pistons. 7 o'clock will be the tip-off. And again, we were talking the other day, Kev, that ESPN had put out their top 10 NBA list. And of course, it led to a lot of chatter back and forth and about the top 10 players in the NBA today. So you and I made our own list. You made the Kev Nash top 10, and I made my own top 10. And I know you were just going to absolutely destroy it. So that's why I'm stalling on putting mine out there. But we'll hit the music, and we're going to go ahead and start with the Kev Nash NBA top 10. Again, we're live on Facebook. Go to Facebook, by the way, because what we have in our hands right here is a Marty Brenneman autographed commemorative microphone, again, honoring his Hall of Fame induction, which was supposed to be this past summer, moved to next summer, of course. Will be inducted to the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, but they had a commemorative microphone made that they were going to give out at the ballpark this year, but obviously with all the changes, they have a lot of microphones on their hands that they'll be using for promotional giveaways moving forward. But we have an extra one. You can win this by heading to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show page, like the page, and share the live video feed. That's it. The second you do that, your name will automatically be listed for us to be able at random to select a name to win one. Our winner from yesterday's show was Eric Curtis. He won one of these, and we have an extra one. So head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, like the page, share the live video feed. That's all you got to do, and then sit back and watch and have fun. So the NBA top 10 list. Kev Nash, you go first. Your top 10 in the NBA today.
I'm going to start different. I'm going to go from number 1 to number 10 instead of 10 to 1, because I think everybody knows who the best player in the NBA is today, right?
Yeah, the best of all time.
You just had to say that. You just can't.
I spit facts.
You can't accept the fact that I was just giving LeBron.
It's funny you say facts.
Obviously, LeBron James is the best basketball player in the world right now. He's number 1. His teammate, Anthony Davis, I'll give him number 2, even though he had a couple games in the NBA Finals where I was looking at him suspect. But I will give him number 2. He is a champion. Got to give him his respect. Number 3, Kevin Durant. Used to be the number 2 best basketball player in the world. Everyone is questioning how he's going to come back from that injury to his Achilles. Look, Kevin Durant was never an explosive athlete. He wasn't Allen Iverson. He wasn't LeBron James. He wasn't D-Wade. He's a skillful technician. He's a 7-foot guard, basically, who can shoot from anywhere. Skillful player. He's not going to lose those skills. So KD is coming in number 3. Then I got at number 4, Kawhi Leonard. He's a very versatile player, not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end. He's known as the Claw. He's a great defensive player. He's one of the only NBA players in the league that can slow down Giannis. So if you can slow down Giannis, you're doing something for me. Obviously had a horrible end to a season with the Clippers, but he's still number 4, 2-time champion. Number 5, probably the best shooter I've ever seen in my life, Steph Curry. He's got a lot on his shoulders this year. He's without his running mate, Klay Thompson, this year. So a lot is going to be left on young Steph, but I think he's up to the challenge. Look for a great year for Steph. Look for him. I'm saying he's going to average at least 32 points a game this year. I think he's going to be jacking up tons of shots. Number 6 for me. I'm not like a big, huge fan of this guy. Basketball, of course, he's a great basketball player, but a lot of people rank him so high. Giannis. Giannis is very good, but he has so many holes in his game outside of the fact, the jump shot, that's the go-to thing that people talk about. But the thing that I really question Giannis with is his commitment to make his teammates better. He makes his teammates better because he passes the ball because he's smart, but actually setting them up. Like LeBron sets his teammates up. Giannis sets them up because if they don't collapse on him, he's going to dunk the ball. So he passes it. It's not the same thing. He's passing out of necessity, but I respect his game. So I got him coming in at number 6. Number 7, going all the way out to the Rocky Mountains in Denver, Colorado, the Joker, Jokic. He's a great basketball player. If you look at him, you don't see basketball player. You maybe see offensive tackle. But guess what? He can play the game of basketball. He's very skillful. Not only can shoot the ball, pass the ball. He's one of the best passers in the NBA. I really rock with Joker. Number 8, my guy, Damian Lillard. Dame time. I mean, we've seen it. He has the most clutch shots in the NBA. over the last 5 years. He sent Russ and Paul George packing. He was outstanding in the NBA bubble to get his team into the playoffs last year. Real big Dame Lillard fan. Number 9 for me, Jimmy Butler led his team to the NBA Finals this year. I was talking to A. Dizzle about this. If you look at it, he battled LeBron step for step. Best as you ever seen somebody battle LeBron step for step, point for point, assist for assist, rebound for rebound. You got to give a lot of kudos to Jimmy Butler for his performance in the NBA Finals. They just came up short against the Lakers. Got to give him a lot of props for that. And number 10 was a very difficult call for me. And I'm not even convinced on this, but I'll do it because I really like the young man's game, Luka. Luka's a superstar. Luka is putting new eyes on basketball, and that's why I got him at number 10. I really like Luka's game, but I really wanted to put Jason Tatum right there, but I don't think people are wowed by Jason Tatum the same way they're wowed by Luka. And Luka has that wow factor. So that's why he's at number 10 for me.
It's the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash. We're giving you our NBA top 10. Again, the NBA preseason tips off tonight. I know it feels like the season just ended. It did. It did. But I'm pretty pumped again. Obi Toppin makes his debut coming up here later on tonight. Here's the thing. You talked about that wow factor. Mm-hmm. The wow factor wears off. Mm-hmm. It always does.
Yes.
Like Luka is about to win a couple MVPs coming up, and Luka will never get, like after he went, like for instance, Antetokounmpo. He's won his 2 MVPs. He's done winning MVPs. He won't win another one. Steve Nash won 2 because of the wow factor, and then it was just like, oh well, Steve Nash didn't get worse after his MVP seasons. He was just as good. It's just I hate the NBA MVP is the worst of all the MVP awards in all of sports. It's pointless. The MVP award in the NBA is always awarded to guys that are new and fresh, and they make you feel good. And then after a couple years of winning an MVP, then what happens is then the expectations for that player rises. Mm-hmm. So once you win a couple MVPs, it's like, okay, well, now that you've won a few, you should be winning NBA titles now.
Right.
Oh, you're not winning NBA title. Well, look at Russell Westbrook. Wins an MVP, not winning NBA titles. Now we just think he's a scrub. His numbers are actually better. In fact, his numbers continue to get better each year. His numbers are better now than what it was when he won the MVP the first time. So I'm like, to me, is Russell Westbrook less valuable now than he was the year that he was the most valuable player? No, it's just we hadn't seen a player in decades average a triple-double. He did that. It was fantastic. It was fun to watch. We were all like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Well, now he does it, and it's not cool anymore because it's just expected, and that's the part that drives me nuts about the MVP award in the NBA. Because let's be clear, how many years has LeBron been in the NBA?
On year 18.
18. He's been the MVP 15 of those. First 3, just getting acclimated to the league. He's been the MVP for 15 years. Michael Jordan, how many years he played in the league?
I think a total of 15.
Well, let's be clear, outside of the Wizards years and first maybe even 2 or 3 with the Bulls, should have been the MVP every one of those 2. The bottom line is the MVP never truly goes to the most valuable. It's always the most interesting. It should be the MIP. The MIP the last 2 years has been Giannis Antetokounmpo. Why? Because he looks different than every other player in the NBA right now. Steph Curry looked different than your typical MVPs, the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron Jameses of the world, the powerhouses. Steph Curry looked different. Smaller guard, dominating from 3. He looked different, so we're going to give him the MVP. His style of play was interesting. We give him the MVP. James Harden, never seen a scorer like him. At this clip, no one can stop him, whether you think he's a traveler or not. Bottom line is you can't stop. We give him the MVP, and then a year later, we label him as a guy you can't win with. How can you be the most valuable player in the league, but then also be labeled as a guy that you just can't win with? You can't have it both ways. So to me, there is no such thing as the most valuable player in the NBA. It is strictly the most interesting player. And Luka right now is on the verge of being the most interesting player in the NBA. I think that Zion Williamson is going to get to that point once the Pelicans start winning. I think Zion will win one. Now, that's not a shot at these guys who win MVPs. These guys really are that damn good. But I can't stand is after we award them an MVP, then a year or 2 later, look at the last couple of years of MVPs that we've just labeled garbage now. We think Westbrook's garbage. We think Harden's garbage. That's a garbage take. Those are two of the best players in the NBA, no doubt about it. How are they? The same things they did to win those MVPs are the same things we are labeling them as why they hurt the game today. It makes zero sense to me. It drives me nuts. The reason Steph Curry has got to pass over the other, or not really a pass. That's not what I'm trying to say. Steph Curry, we've never judged heavily because he won an NBA title pre-Kevin Durant, and has won more post-Kevin Durant, and he's been the same player. Do you think Steph Curry's better post-MVP than before?
No, he's about the same.
So is Russell Westbrook. So is James Harden.
But it's a regular season award. It goes to
Westbrook's
regular season.
the best the regular season player.
I totally disagree with that.
That's not like this isn't even an opinion. That's a fact. Every year we do this.
I don't think that the best player necessarily always has the best season.
But James Harden was the best player that year, won MVP. Yeah, this year just as good, doesn't win MVP.
But there's other players that play.
But like examples.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of players that play. There's 5 that start for each team. Then there's a bench. Then there's the G League players, of course.
You know what I'm saying is what other players are playing too, and other players have better seasons. Like you can reward Russ for having an outstanding season where he averaged a triple-double and he got his team into the playoffs where after Kevin Durant left and went to the Golden State Warriors, nobody expected them to be in that position to make it to the playoffs. They made it to the playoffs. He had an outstanding season. But then the following year, all right, Giannis played better. Giannis had a better season than him.
How did he play better? Russell Westbrook still averaging close to a triple-double. 5 years ago, if you had a triple-double, you were a god. You average a triple-double, God looked up to you. He averages a triple-double now, and what do we say? Well, triple-double, I mean, he's just padding stats. It's Russell Westbrook. We do this all the time. The triple-double thing was new. It was cool. Now it's boring. We go on to the next thing. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's built like a freak. That's why they call him the Greek Freak. No one in the league looks like him. No one's built like him. The last time we saw a player kind of similar to him was young, skinny Orlando Magic Shaquille O'Neal. And then he turned into the big diesel guy. I don't anticipate Giannis turning into that, but he is getting bigger each year. So he's interesting. But now that we figured it out, and he's going to be the same guy every year, he's going to have another great year this year. He's not winning an MVP. And it won't mean that he's worse than what he was a year ago or the year before that. It's because we're falling in love with Luka, and Luka will win it because he's just new and interesting. We do this all the time. I brought up Steve Nash. He won back-to-back MVPs. Go look at that year after he won his second MVP. His numbers are better than the first and second year.
His personal numbers can be better, but another person can have a better season.
That's not true. I mean, yes, it's not true because you are stop. That's bull, and you know it.
How?
Because we get bored. It's the same damn season. How was that season? You mean to tell me that a triple-double, which was untouchable for over how many 60 years?
No, I was like, yeah, whatever. It don't matter.
So however long it was for Russell Westbrook, he does it again the next year. And someone else had it. You can't have a better season than someone who's literally dominating and averaging double digits in points and rebounds and assists and averaging 3 to 4 steals a game. You can't have a better season than that. But because we're bored with Westbrook, we pick somebody else.
Who's your top 10? Because we'll go around the bush about this.
Yeah, it sucks being wrong all the time for you, Gunner. I don't know what it's like to be Kev Nash.
I can't wait to hear this.
My top 10, again, that was Kev. One more time, Kev Nash's top 10. LeBron James 1, Anthony Davis 2, Kevin Durant at number 3. He has Kawhi, I'm too tired to play, every night Leonard at 4. Steph Curry at 5. I'm a big Steph Curry fan. Giannis is interesting until the season starts at number 6, and I'm a big Giannis fan. I'm just talking about national narrative. Nikola Jokic. I'm horrible at names. I hope I did that right, but I know who Jokic is. Number 7, Dame Lillard. Dame, what time is it? Oh, I always show up when it's too late. Dame Lillard. Number 8.
What are you talking about? They went to the Western Conference Finals. They knocked out your precious Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
I would, again, better team. Portland had a better team.
They didn't.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
They got healthy. They weren't the same. They were one of the teams that benefited from the rule change. I don't want to hear that.
No.
That's
2 years. I'm talking about 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
Before Rona, when he knocked them out the playoffs with a 50-footer bomb.
So, also a few years ago, the Boston Celtics were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and no one looked at them and said, oh, man, they're so close. There was still a huge gap between them and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals with LeBron James. So you had Dame Lillard at number 8, Jimmy Butler at number 9, and Luka about to be your MVP. Doncic just because he's interesting.
I don't know that.
We all know that. We all know that. It's either LeBron MVP or Luka. Those are your only MVPs this year. And it's not a shot at Giannis, but people are going to be bored with Giannis at this point. So, on to my top 10. I don't know why you're laughing. It's not even that crazy of a top 10.
Oh, I'm here for it.
LeBron James. Actually, just so people can see this, I want to make sure it's, there we go. It's right there. You're watching it live on Facebook. Take a look at the top 10.
Graphic, man.
So, yeah, can you see the graph?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I actually was going to actually make it larger. Okay.
That's what she said. Okay, so now on to my top 10. LeBron James, I have coming in at number 1. Chris already taking shots, saying, is Brady your number 1 NFL player? LeBron's still the best player in the game today, like not even close, Chris. I don't know why you're still he's a Bulls guy. He's a Michael Jordan guy. That's why. All right, so LeBron James, who just won an NBA title with his 3rd straight team, by the way. Number 1. Kevin Durant, I still have at number 2 because before that injury last year, there's no doubt that he's the 2nd best player in the NBA, in my opinion. My problem with it, I get why the injury is going to be why a lot of people are going to question and maybe move him back. I think he's going to take it over, take over that number 2 spot. Kevin, his next stage now is just proving that he's the number 2 by being able to lead a team to the finals. I think that's very important for him. If he could win one more NBA championship with outside of his time with the Warriors, he will have no more doubters after that. But like LeBron had to go through that too, where he needed that Cleveland win, that title, to kind of shut a lot of the haters up because everyone tried to discredit everything he did with the Heat. By winning it with Cleveland, it was like, okay, I didn't have to go to Miami to win titles. Clearly, I can win Cleveland. Of all cities, Cleveland, I can win here. And then, he goes to a 3rd team and does it, but that's a conversation for later. So, Kevin Durant at number 2. I have Anthony Davis at number 3. Giannis Antetokounmpo coming in at number 4. I have James Harden at number 5. Do you even have James Harden in your top 10? I have James Harden. How can you not have him in your top 10? How can you not have him in your top 10? What doesn't make him a top 10 player in today's NBA?
His performances in the playoffs.
Oh, we're talking about regular season.
Yeah. You're talking about MVP. MVP is a regular season award. A basketball player plays in the regular season and postseason. His postseason performance.
James Harden averages 26 a game in the postseason. I'd say that's fine.
And that is -8 from what he averages in the regular
Everyone's
season.
numbers drop in the playoffs.
No, that's not true.
Defenses pick up in the playoffs.
That's not true.
Well, if you're done talking about LeBron's numbers, who usually
Allen Iverson's points increased.
In the East.
Michael Jordan's points increased.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James' points increased.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Wade's points increased in the playoffs.
Dwayne had LeBron. Michael had Pippen. Iverson didn't win a title.
He won a championship without LeBron. And then D Wade, his points increased.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal.
His points increased.
He had Shaquille O'Neal, who all the defensive attention goes down to him, kick it out, wide open shooter, take guys one-on-one. Dwayne Wade was great. He had a Robin.
How many Robins does he need?
Legit Robins.
He played with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Then he played
at the early infancy stages of that group growing together.
Hey, man.
And he wasn't the star of that team. He was the outside. I mean, it was Russell Westbrook and him. He left.
Yeah, Chris Paul.
We're talking about a guy, and we're talking about a guy right now. See, I can't talk NBA with you because I get literally pissed. I don't know why. I just got to call it. It's just the NBA. But James Harden literally averages 36 points a game.
I don't care about stats.
I don't care about stats. You don't care about stats because the stats prove that you're wrong.
I don't care about stats.
You were right. You were just spitting stats about the playoffs.
Yeah, he plays worse in the playoffs. I don't need
based on what? You just said that.
Based on his performance.
His performance
based on how he plays.
His performance is based on what?
Based on him getting winded. Based on him,
you're picking up these random things that have nothing to do with stats.
That has everything to do with his performance. How he's performing, how he's playing the game.
Is a performance meter.
I'm not looking at the box score to say, oh man, he only hit 5 threes and he jacked up 20. I'm just looking at how the game goes. He doesn't play well in the playoffs.
I have James Harden at number 5 because, for one, he averages close to 5 threes a game. So of his 36 points a game that he averages, 15 of those are from behind the three-point line by themselves. You take out the three-point shot, he's still averaging 20 points a game in today's NBA. So when people say, oh, he's just a three-point shooter, no, he is the best three-point shooter in the league. He is the best scorer in the league. You can't stop him. All right. And we do know that come NBA playoff time, a lot of it does come down to defense. Oh, he's not a great defensive player. He's not going to be a Ron Artest markdown defender. He's top 5 in steals.
He's definitely got better at his defensive end for sure.
Top 5 in steals. And then my favorite part is he's also top 5 in assists. averages close to 7 assists a game. So for a guy that everyone labels as a selfish ball hogs are not able to get off enough passes to even get more than 5 assists a game. So James Harden leads the league in scoring, leads the league in 3-point shots made, leads, top 5 in steals. I'm taking him all day. I'm taking James Harden in my top 10 all day. Steph Curry coming in at number 6. Kawhi Leonard, I have at number 7. Me and you both have him back further, right? Where did you have him?
I have Kawhi at
number 4.
4. I have Kawhi at 4.
I have him back further. I just, for me, because I look at him, I'm not a big Kawhi guy. I'm just not. I don't think he's bad. I think he's a very good player. I think there's just a lot of players like him. I think he is, what separates him is his defensive ability. But I'm not a big Kawhi Leonard guy, because anyone that is purposely working off days into their schedule, when you have a guy like LeBron who is going on 18 years of literally it takes him being hit by a semi to keep him off the basketball court, to me, that speaks volumes about his work ethic. Steph Curry's the same way. I don't knock a guy for being injured and missing time, although that could be something you knock a guy on to say he's too soft, he's injured all the time. But when you are purposely, I have no problem if late in the season you just say, hey, man, I need a rest, man. We've been going hard. I don't have a problem with that. But when you're pre-planning, I plan on being tired these games, I have a problem with that. I lose respect for you. That's why I have Kawhi Leonard, still acknowledging he's a top 10 player, but I'm not going to put him up in the top 5.
There's so many rumors around him about why he takes days off. Like, there's so many rumors about him having a degenerative knee and all that type of stuff. Since he doesn't talk, we have no idea what's true and what isn't true.
Eric Pugh on Facebook says 100% correct about Harden, talking about you. You can't have a choke artist in the top 10. And he does get stopped. When I said you can't stop him, he does get stopped every postseason. Yes, the Rockets get stopped. His teams get stopped every postseason. His teams. So there's, his teams. It takes a team to win the championship, not one individual player. And especially in the league now where you have everyone doubling up, tripling up. Yes. All right. So I have Russell Westbrook coming in at number 8. Again, he in the ESPN NBA top 10. He's not in there either. He's on the outside. I think a lot of these guys are getting penalized for team success, and I think that matters, obviously. But I think they have to be put in those right situations. I really do. Anthony Davis, let's be clear. It took him being paired with LeBron before we finally put him at the stage in which he is in. It's not like Anthony Davis. Look at that Lakers roster. You take LeBron off that roster, that Lakers team, they are no better. They're worse than the Pelicans team that he came from. LeBron won that championship. Anthony Davis flourished because of LeBron James. And I think that James Harden is looking for that type of situation. He's looking for that player that he's going to be able to thrive with. I think it could be Giannis Antetokounmpo, because I think that their styles are completely opposite of one another. They wouldn't clash. I think they would thrive off one another. I think that's why LeBron and Anthony Davis work. I don't like the idea of Russell Westbrook and James Harden playing together. That's why I didn't like that idea when they went to Houston. Everyone had that concern about that. I don't like the idea of Harden going to the Nets and playing with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I think that is an absolute nightmare.
I think if he gets traded there, it will work. James Harden has shown the ability to play off the ball. He has shown the ability to be a slasher early in his career. He's not going to lose that ability. My worry would be Kyrie. Kyrie has never shown anything else but size, dominate the basketball. Kevin Durant is such a skillful basketball player that he doesn't need to dribble a whole bunch of times to get his shot off. He can just sit there in the corner and blaze up threes. Hey, you going to leave me wide open? Good luck with that. So I'm not worried about them two playing together. I know James Harden and Kevin Durant can play together. My question would be, can Kyrie Irving mesh with them? He's the oddball in my eyes.
I'm not a Kyrie guy either, and that's changed over the years because I was a big Kyrie. Me and you, I used to defend Kyrie to you, and I don't even try anymore. Right now, he's on his own. He is on his own as far as that goes. So, yeah, Russell Westbrook coming in at number 8. I have Luke at 9. And a guy that I'm a huge fan of, and I think he's hit from the fact that his team has not taken that next step. It's very important that Atlanta takes that next step. This is the team I really wanted Obi Toppin to go to play with Trae Young. Trae Young is my number 10 player right there, averaging 26 a game, averaging over almost close to a double-double in assists, about 6-7 rebounds a game. He's close to that triple-double range too. He's real close to that triple-double range too. So I'm a big Trae Young fan. He's going to have to take that big step forward this coming up season. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. The team that actually no one's talking about that James Harden would make a lot of sense in, but the market just it's boring. You want to talk about two styles of play that wouldn't clash? I would if I'm him, go to the Pelicans. The reason is Lonzo Ball. It's not a scoring point guard, a great passing point guard. He would be fantastic to play alongside James Harden, and you also have Zion Williamson, complete opposite type of player. He would thrive with the Pelicans, with Zion Williamson, with James Harden, with Lonzo Ball. I would put that as a top big three in the NBA currently, even over the Suns, who have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. I would take that. Like, no one talks about that. I honestly do believe James Harden and Zion Williamson would thrive together. Completely different styles of play. They wouldn't clash. And then Lonzo Ball is one of my favorite point guards in the league because he's not a scoring point guard. He's the guy that will dish it first. He can defend. And in a league where you have guys who want to score all over the place, that's one less guy you have to worry about taking shots from your star players. That's why if I'm a guy like a James Harden, I would love to play with Lonzo Ball. He's not going to take shots away from me. In fact, he's going to take pressure off of me. He'll handle the ball. I can work off the ball. I can play with the ball. Zion's going to take pressure off me. That would be the perfect situation right there for James Harden.
Yeah, that's not bad. I also think about James Harden with Philly. I know that Philly has this enamorment with Embiid, man, but I would ship him. I would ship him for James Harden. I think that him and Ben Simmons could play great together.
That's another one too.
Ben Simmons talks about how much things he can't do, and same thing for Lonzo Ball. Like, oh man, he can't shoot, he can't do this. But the thing about Lonzo Ball and Ben Simmons, they're some of the best defensive guards in the league. Man, scratch guards. Ben Simmons is one of the best defensive players in the NBA. So that's like just one of my things about the NBA in itself. People always thought, well, he can't play defense. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Well, let's think about the things he does do well. Ben Simmons is an elite defender, elite passer, elite finisher. You put him beside a James Harden, you're not going to have to worry about him shooting threes because he's not going to shoot threes. Unlike Russell Westbrook, he shoots threes and doesn't hit them. So you're not going to have those quote unquote bad shots because he's not going to shoot them. He's only shooting the shots he knows he can make. And that's something that I think Ben Simmons needs a lot of credit for. I know a lot of people rag on him not even attempting to shoot a shot, but hey, man, he's still scoring the ball, and he scored it efficiently because he's shooting the shots he knows he can make.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at with it. If I'm Philly, I'm shipping Embiid. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm shipping everybody not named Giannis to get him teamed up with Giannis. Imagine Giannis and James Harden on the same team together. You wouldn't have Giannis initiating the offense. You have Giannis as the finisher. So James Harden is a great basketball player. There's no doubt about it. Just because I don't have him in my top 10 don't get it twisted like he's not a great player. I think if you put him in a different spot with a different organization, with a different player, like a finisher like of that size of Ben Simmons and Giannis, you better watch out.
Chris on Facebook says, I'm old school. I can't stand ring chasers. LeBron has one title that he didn't form the complete team. This is my biggest pet peeve. Like, everyone's a ring chaser. That's all anyone does is set themselves up to win rings.
That's why we play the game.
Let's be clear. Michael Jordan wasn't a ring chaser.
Right.
He didn't have to technically chase it. He had it. And if he didn't have it, if Krause and those guys didn't draft Pippen, if they didn't go out and get guys like, go out and get Rodman and them, if the Bulls weren't winning titles, Michael Jordan, the most ultimate competitor in the history of all professional sports, not just basketball. There has never been a competitor to the level that we have seen of Michael Jordan in any sport. He's a psychopath. Folks, do you really think, he punched Steve Kerr. If Krause and those guys didn't get him Rodman, if they didn't draft Pippen, if they didn't provide him those weapons, he would have punched them on the way out to his new team where he would have gone. That's my biggest thing is, like, I'm not trying to get into the LeBron Michael thing, but the ring chasing comment drives me nuts because that's what everyone in the history of sports does. Like Dirk Nowitzki. Okay. Do we really put Dirk Nowitzki in the same category as the LeBrons and Dirk? There's always that second tier of guys, of star players that are capable. I put Dirk in that second tier, not a uber competitor like we're talking. But Michael Jordan did not have to go anywhere else. That's why he didn't go anywhere else. If the Bulls didn't draft well, if they didn't go out and get the proper players to put around him, he would have left too. Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind about it. So LeBron Look at what we've been through this before. Look what Cleveland provided him the first 7 years he was in the league. He signed an extension, his rookie extension. He stayed a full 7 years. After he signed that rookie extension, after taking them to the finals in his first rookie contract, you would think that they would do everything they can to make the rosters better each year. They got an old Ben Wallace. All right. They did get Antoine Jameson, but they got like a 40-year-old Shaquille O'Neal. Like people forget Ben Wallace played with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, they didn't do their part. The Cavs didn't do for LeBron what the Bulls did for MJ.
I will say this about the Cavs, though, and people are going to take this the wrong way. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It's my hometown. I don't care. Look, man, the NBA and the NFL are two totally different animals. In the NFL, a free agent will go to the worst team in the NFL because they're willing to pay, because their life expectancy and their career are way shorter. In the NBA, the stars run the league, and soon the stars also pick their destinations, and star players want to play in quote unquote big markets in cool cities. New York is a cool city. Los Angeles is a cool city. Miami is a cool city. Look, man, it's my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, 216. I got a tattoo of it on my body, for goodness sakes. It's not a cool city that it's a destination place. It is proven that if people do a small amount of research about LeBron James' first tenure with the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James tried to get not only Amari Stoudemire turned down the Cleveland Cavaliers and went to the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks were terrible. The Cavs were winning the East. He chose to go to New York Knicks because it's in New York. Chris Bosh chose to go to Miami when they were all free agents at the same time. LeBron did not want to go to Miami. He was like, look, I'm trying to get Chris Bosh to come here. Bosh was like, nah, I'm not coming to Cleveland. I'll go to Miami, though, which left him with nobody to come to him. Look, it's not about LeBron James ring chasing. I honestly believe LeBron James had every intention on staying with the Cleveland Cavaliers if he could get people to come to the Cavs.
Those three were going to pair up no matter what. It was just a matter of where.
Yeah. And not to cut you off, but when LeBron left the Cavs the second time, it's miraculous. Now everybody's coming to LeBron James. No. Has nothing to do with playing with LeBron. Has everything to do with, I get to play with LeBron James on the Los Angeles Lakers. That's not a secret. That's not a big known thing. Like it's obvious. It's obvious. Like, yeah, he's a great basketball player, but I'll go to New York instead. No, it's because they don't want to live in Cleveland. It's as simple as that. It's New York versus Cleveland, Los Angeles versus Cleveland. Like, all these dudes went other places. They just didn't want to come to the Cavs or Cleveland. It don't have nothing to do with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It has everything to do with the city. NBA is ruled by star players wanting to play in quote unquote cool cities.
Yeah, the term ring chaser has a negative connotation to it, but let's be clear. If you're not a ring chaser, if you are not pursuing a ring, I question your competitiveness level. We've talked about that. Carmelo Anthony had opportunities to force trades and opportunities to go play for winners. He chose to go to New York to chase money. He got labeled for that. Like, in his defense, though, Carmelo believed he could accomplish both. Carmelo believed that he was a good enough player to feel that way.
Yeah, he thought he could go make his money
and create a winner in the East.
Yeah, and team up with Amari Stoudemire. That's what his thought was. Like, well, shoot, he was gonna go to Cleveland, but he went to New York. I can go to New York and team up with him. Like, LeBron was trying to team up with him, and boom, we got it. Wrong. His knees blew out.
So that's why I'm like, but the narrative is that he was
money for the money,
and that's why I always laugh. We did this topic a while back. I'm like, what do fans really want out of their athletes? Because we get mad if they chase money. And then when they don't chase, we want our athletes to care about winning. And then when our athletes care about winning, like LeBron, and goes to Miami to win rings, or Kevin Durant goes to the Warriors to win rings, those guys are following our rules. We as fans have set the precedent that you need to win championships to be relevant. And if you don't win championships, you're not relevant. Kevin Durant was starting to panic. He spent 9 years with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Right. He's not new to the league, folks. Like, he's over a decade in. Like, he's closer to retirement.
Year 14.
Yeah. Like, we act like Kevin Durant's new to the scene. He's actually closer to the back end of his career than he is the beginning. He gave 9 years to the Thunder before initially leaving and going to the Warriors. Warriors. And that's why I wasn't mad that he left the Thunder. I was annoyed that he went to the Warriors per se, but that's a conversation for later. But these guys feel the pressure. They panic. LeBron was feeling the pressure. He was the chosen one. He was and he was already the face of the NBA without winning a title, but he was feeling the pressure of having to win a title. That's why he went to Miami. You, the fans, forced him to Miami because we said you had to win. And I promise you, folks, Michael Jordan would have chased rings. If the Bull, give the Bulls credit, they did that. Now, someone brought up a good point. Where did Schroeder's thing go? Schroeder said the Cavs did try. They did try. Go read the stories. They tried to make trades, but LeBron was holding them hostage. Okay, LeBron intervened and was trying to make decisions. Bad ownership lets the player try to make decisions. Folks, Michael Jordan should have been the most powerful athlete of them all. Michael Jordan never once went in to demand more money for his teammates. He never went in to demand to go get this player or that player. Like, you watch that documentary. He had no idea they were getting Dennis Rodman. He found out with the rest of his teammates that they got Dennis Rodman. They didn't include him in that decision-making. So although LeBron, yeah, you could sit there and say, well, he tries to meddle too much. Well, you meddle if your company lets you. If my bosses let me make bad decisions, it's on me for making bad decisions, but it's on them ultimately too for letting me make bad decisions. So that's kind of how it is there. It still falls on Cavs ownership if LeBron is making bad decisions. You don't let your player be the GM, and if you do and it doesn't work out, that's not on LeBron. That's technically on you as well.
I wouldn't say LeBron meddled the first tenure. I think he was only willing to commit to certain things, which he has every right to. But the second time, he definitely meddled. I mean, we saw that the big contract that Tristan got, the contract that J.R. Smith got, he was able to, get them to trade Wiggins for Kevin Love. And all that meddling turned into a championship. So it was all worth it.
LeBron recruits players. Jordan never did that. What are you talking about? For one, the Bulls had their core in place for two different dynasties. Like, I don't understand that. And by the way, and Chris, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Let's be clear here. There's social media now. Everything gets out now. Back then, if a pigeon didn't drop it on your front doorstep, did it even happen? You don't know. You don't know what happened behind closed doors as far as that goes. That's the music cueing me to shut up, and we got to get moving. But I love the NBA discussion. In the past, we haven't been able to have NBA discussion, but people they're jumping in on the NBA conversation. I like it. It's a different time now. The NBA sucks. What?
The association is great, man.
The association is fine.
Association is great. And people that say that, you're missing out. You're totally missing out on a lot of great basketball. You can love the era that you fell in love with the game of basketball and fall in love with, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, all the players from the late 80s, early 90s and everything like that. That's my era too. I love it too. And you can fall in love with the guys from the 70s. That's great. But you are truly missing out on the association, the actual games. Now, I can go with you there. Like, all right, man, the drama, the NBA drama, because that is a soap opera all onto itself. But, just watch the games. These dudes can play, man. These dudes, you're missing out on Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young. It's a lot of great young basketball players that since my era was better, you're missing out on. Because guess what? It's a lot of other kids that's watching it, having fun, enjoying the game.
Now, he said, Justin, you said Jordan didn't have to recruit players. Jordan didn't have to. Jordan never felt that he had to go force the ownership to make a decision to bring. When the Bulls figured it out, let's be clear too. When LeBron wants a player, the Cavs peed down their leg and they tried to get him that player the second go round. Okay, he made bad GM, just whatever.
They got a championship, so I can't say it was any bad moves.
The Bulls were they changed coaches, and MJ was furious. That ended up being, and look, the management was right. They changed to Phil Jackson. But people act like that Michael Jordan knew what was best. Michael Jordan wanted to stay with Collins. Had they done what Michael Jordan wanted, he probably doesn't win 6 rings. He wins less rings.
This is also a fact. Most great basketball players make terrible GMs and make terrible coaches.
Yeah. Look at what MJ's doing now.
The Jerry West thing, that's an anomaly. Jerry West is a Hall of Fame basketball player, Hall of Fame general manager too. But Pat Riley was an average basketball player when he was in Kentucky, turned into a great NBA coach. Phil Jackson, average basketball player, turns into a great coach. Like, it takes.
To be fair, Phil Jackson, he just didn't have a good enough posse to help him learn how to be a GM. So,
Rick Carlisle, a role player in the NBA. He's one of the best coaches in the league. Jerry Sloan, RIP. He was a role player when he was in the NBA. One of the best coaches of all time. Lenny Wilkins. He won a championship, but he was a role player on those teams. But he was one of the winningest coaches of all time. Like, when you're like a super great player and everything like that, you can't convey to the average player what to do, because instinctually you can just do it because you're that good. You can't convey that. So it takes a special person to convey things and communicate very well, especially the new generation and people that are missing out on basketball now. You're truly missing out on some great basketball, just looking down on the generation like, oh man, they can't do this, they can't do that. Well, look at the things that they can do and be entertained, man. They're here providing entertainment, especially in a pandemic.
I don't even know what our title is. It's NBA. It's very generic and basic. It's NBA.
I love the association.
I do too. I'm a big fan of it. Eric Pugh, who I believe Eric and I do not agree hardly on anything, but we found our middle ground here. It looks like him and I are on the same page when it comes to the NBA. Eric says Jordan had the best coach ever and one of the best rosters of all time, several Hall of Famers. He didn't need to recruit, and nor would LeBron with Pippen and Rodman and Kerr. And Eric, you're right. I guess that was my point. I'm not taking a shot at MJ or anything like that. I'm saying, hey, good for Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan got to get settled in for that 8-year stretch with missing seasons in there. But he got settled in for that 8-year stretch because his ownership made a lot of dumb decisions behind closed doors, but they made so many right ones that led to that dynasty happening. MJ never had to worry about roster construction because it was there. LeBron's having to worry about his play. He's having to worry about his teammates' play. He's having to worry that his GM and ownership that makes the right decision. And I hate when people say LeBron, he's just a ring chaser. MJ didn't have to chase rings. You're right, he didn't have to chase rings.
Well, let's be clear. LeBron has to be a ring chaser because we in the media put that on him. That's
why I said earlier. Like
he's like this because we, as a sports fan base, made him like this. Like I truly believe if LeBron had it his way, he would just play basketball because he loves playing basketball. But obviously he loves winning and all that type of stuff. But like this whole I got to get to this number, I got to get to this number of rings so I can be the GOAT. Like those type of things fuel people, which is great for our entertainment purposes. But like I truly don't think like people like LeBron, if they just had the game of basketball to play, they would literally go to open gym and just hoop. Like KD the same way. Like Kevin Durant now, the person he's grown into, like this person that's angry, it seems like we've made him like this. We've made him like this because, you don't have no rings. You've been in the league this long. You ain't good enough.
Or you have rings.
Oh, you got these rings. Those don't count. Like, so we've made him like this. Not only the media, but us having access to people 24/7, 365 via Twitter or Instagram. Like, we can spew our love or hate towards them as much as we want to. And for people to say, oh, just don't look at the comments, that's easy for you to say. Because if somebody commented your name on Facebook, you're going right back at
me. I never go back on people on Facebook. Okay, listen. So Eric said, you're right. We never agree. But it sounds like we do here. But yeah, I tell you what, we'll get back into Eric also says the NBA is great right now. He loves it. I love it too. I think there's so many young stars in the league. That's the one thing the NBA has going for it. Unlike baseball, Kev. It's young stars galore, and the young stars galore get people to watch. There's so many great baseball players, but they're not marketable and they're not draws. The NBA has draws all over, and that's what's great. Now, Chris says, go to commercial break. I need to walk to my car. Now, Chris is the kind of person that anything he tells me to do, I usually do the opposite, but I do need to listen to Chris on this. We have to get to this commercial break. We appreciate everyone listening, having a good time here. Isn't crying and complaining about something. Ron says, thought this would be a football Friday. 3-hour show. We spent 40 minutes talking NBA. We spent the first hour talking football. We're going to get into football. Ron, go change your diaper. Go change your bib. Stop being a baby. We'll get back to some football in a moment. All will be okay. Everything will be fine. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Where's the money, Karen?
I'm sorry, the money?
The money you saved by having Liberty Mutual customize your home insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, that money. I used it to add to my collection of clown paintings. Take a look.
Amazing. Wow.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Money hooray, money hooray, money for the holidays. Oh, what fun it could be with money for the holidays. Need money for the holidays? Jackson Hewitt could help. Starting December 17th, come in and ask a Jackson Hewitt tax pro how you could get up to $700 fast with an early refund advance 0% APR loan by MetaBank. All you need to get started is a pay stub or other proof of income. Learn how at jacksonhewitt.com. Terms apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
For the one standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgrainger.com/safety or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Yeah, this season I actually had little business cards made. Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM. You can keep that. Sure, the players are famous, but come game day, I decide their fate. What's that? Oh, you make $20 million? Well, I don't like your attitude. You benched! Now, I'd never bench an all-star, but I could. That's also why I like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. With options based on my budget, they never throw me a curveball. That's a little baseball reference for you.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Remember being in your favorite sport clips, getting set for that great MVP haircut experience? Yeah. How about if we made that wait even shorter? Now, with Sport Clips On Deck text alerts, when you check in online or with our app, we'll text you a 15-minute heads up when it's time to head in. And when you're the next man up, you'll get another text to come take your seat. Less wait time, more prime time. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
Mel Gibson is Santa, as you've never seen him. Rent Fat Man, now available at Redbox. To save his declining business, Kris Kringle is forced into a partnership with the U.S. military. He's also locked in a deadly battle of wits against a highly skilled assassin hired by a vengeful 12-year-old boy who believed he deserved better than coal in his stocking. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear jolly old Saint Nick isn't someone you want to mess with. Watch Fat Man, starring Mel Gibson, and make it a Redbox night. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
Whatever you send through the U.S. Postal Service this season is so much more than mail or packages. In every carrier's hands is a card with your handwriting. In every box, on every truck, is your message that you care. We know how much goes into your holiday mail, especially this year, which is why we go the distance to bring you closer. Learn more at USPS.com/closer.
All those mouths to feed. So many different cravings.
In a world filled with endless dinner options, lives a family ravaged by hunger. The answer lies with one man. No, not just a man, a king, a pizza king.
Get a large Casanos Deluxe pizza for $15.99.
or a large pepperoni for just $12.99. Call 294-KING and see for yourself why the proof is in the taste.
Pizza King. This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Home for the holidays, taking on a new meaning this year. Whatever your plans to celebrate, First Florist and Greenhouses can brighten your home with the holiday spirit. For gourmet baskets, holiday decorations, seasonal plants, and fresh cut flowers, your best choice is Dayton's largest family-owned florist and greenhouses. In business at the same location since 1905. First Florist and Greenhouses. In-store shopping at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton. Curbside pickup and convenient online shopping. Visit us at firsttheflorist.com. That's FURST, theflorist.com.
It's game day. Are you ready? If you want your game day meal in a hurry, be sure to stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a Buckeye Bucket with 25 golden brown breast strips for only $29.99. And don't forget to add a large Dr. Pepper for $1. Lee's can make your gathering for the big game famous and take the work out of your perfect party. Buckeye Buckets are available daily and limited 2 per customer. Pick up one today. Lee's, famous for chicken.
Homestead Feed and Supplies win-win Christmas raffle. Donate 5 non-perishable items and get a chance to win a Boxel Feed box. It's not just for feed. You can put anything you want in that box. Make your donation before 15 December. Check Facebook for details. Homestead Feed and Supply, New Carlisle. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring for brand new home daily dedicated lanes. Earn up to $1,620 per week. A $2,000 sign-on bonus, medical, dental, vision, company paid life insurance. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com.
Start your holiday gift giving with Esther Price Candy's traditional gold boxes. Variety of holiday baskets, corporate trays, bourbon cherries, and much more. Visit any of their 7 locations in Dayton or Cincinnati. Call and order curbside service from any of their locations. Or shop online at EstherPrice.com and ship your family and friends their favorites. Your holiday tradition is at Esther Price Candies.
There's a whole lot sweeter with fine jackets from Esther Price.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package. We'll change the oil and filter, rotate the tires, check the brakes, test the battery, and check all the fluids and filters. Still starting at just $39.95. And ask us about our double take tire specials. Goodyear, Michelin, BF Goodrich, Kelly, and other quality tires. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right. We welcome you back. And I got a little excited there talking some NBA. We don't get into the NBA too often, but when we do, I lost track of time. I lose track of time quite often. But not like that. That was I might be going on a vacation here soon. So I'm getting some heat for my list. Of course, everyone likes you, so your list. I mean, you could have Scalabrini 1 through 10. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's a great list, Kev. That's a great point."
Look,
and he ain't even in the league anymore.
Look,
but I legitimately think is legitimately a word. I've had this debate before. Is legitimately a word? It's not, but I think it is. I use it as if you say any word confidently enough, people just think, "Oh wow, he has a very advanced vocabulary."
I think legitimately you said?
Is it legitimately or legitimately?
Legitimately is definitely a word.
Are you
definitely
sure?
100%.
Is that legitimately?
When you say it doesn't sound like a word.
Oh, man. All right. Keith said that was a great conversation. And yeah, Justin, your list is so-so. Oh, yeah, Keith? Well, it's okay. I've been trying to get better at, like, when people disagree with me, just say, you know what, Keith, I respect your...
Hold on. I just thought about something.
What did you think about, Kev?
You raked me over the coals about Luka. So not only do you have Luka and his counterpart, Trae Young, in your top 10.
Damn right.
They're the same player.
Better than Dame?
Get out of here, bruh. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
You would take Dame over both of them?
Yes. Like right now, today.
Yep.
Now in the future, yeah, Luka's gonna be better. But today,
like future, as in when the season tips off.
no,
in
like
2 weeks,
future,
I
like
agree with you.
in the future, like man, like 3-4 years from now.
3 or 4 years from now.
Yeah.
What has Dave Lillard done in his last 3 or 4 years at all?
What are you talking about?
I mean, last I checked.
What are you talking about? So let's make sure that everybody knows this.
My hands look like his, little lighter, but look like his, no rings.
Whenever we talk about a player that I prefer over a player he doesn't, he always goes to the ring card. But then when I bring up the fact that James Harden doesn't have rings and chokes in the playoffs, he does all these cool moves and he travels and he hits a whole bunch of threes better than everybody in the league. Why isn't it the same? Why isn't it the same? James Harden ain't got no rings.
James Harden got MVP.
Okay. And what else he got?
That still is what separates him from Dave Lillard automatically.
Automatically.
The MVP doesn't mean anything. No, it's the most interesting player in the NBA is what it should be called. But he does have an MVP. And if Dame did have an MVP, you would not be letting me get away with disrespecting the most interesting player award.
I value the MVP award.
You don't. No, you value it for the first time it happens for a player. After that, it's like,
I value it for their entire career.
There's no way that a player with the numbers that they have when they win an MVP gets better even years after that. Their numbers are better than the year they won the MVP, and somehow they're trash. That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't mean a different player can't have a better season.
No.
What? Now? How does that no?
Because that's not. James Harden is better now than what he was when he won the MVP, and now he's out of people's top 10. So it's one thing to say, okay, another player had a better season.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying it's one thing for you to say that, but then to turn around and not have him in your top 10 as if there's just 9 other players better than James Harden is laughable.
The fact that you have Trae Young in your top 10 is laughable.
For one, James Harden is going to have way more of an impressive NBA resume when it is all said and done than Dame Lillard is just another one of those Tracy McGrady impressive players, fun to watch, but they didn't really do anything. What did Tracy McGrady do? What did Dame Lillard do? They had a couple of exciting seasons.
So you're going to hang on to James Harden's MVP award because that is quote unquote the only thing that he has over Dame Lillard or Tracy McGrady. He doesn't have anything else.
I think so you would take Tracy McGrady and Dame over.
I would definitely take Tracy McGrady over both of them. Definitely.
I like T-Mac though, so I don't want to disrespect T-Mac.
And T-Mac can.
But I'll take T-Mac over Dame.
I'll take T-Mac over both of them.
James Harden over Dame.
I'll take Dame over James Harden.
So Shorty says he wants to see my list one more time. My list.
Don't
LeBron James.
Cover your eyes.
What that? LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis. 1, 2, and 3.
Real quick before we jump into Shorty. Where was AD on your list before he won the championship?
Before he would still be top 10, but I would have had him more back towards the back end of the top 10. But what I liked about what Anthony Davis did is he didn't just what Anthony Davis did was not ride off LeBron's success. Anthony Davis was able to take advantage of the opportunities that came to him because of LeBron. It's one thing to win because of LeBron. It's another to take your career and to take your game and elevate it because of LeBron. Because LeBron's going to give you LeBron style of play, and his greatness is going to give you that opportunity to be great, but it's what you do with it. He actually did that. And that's why I have him all the way up there right there. But the reason I can argue me having him up there now that I think about it compared to what my expectations are, take LeBron out. I don't think the Lakers are a playoff team last year. They're an NBA champion with LeBron James. I don't even think they're a playoff team with Anthony Davis and no LeBron James. So there's that.
I would have to think about that. In a whole 82, maybe
that
not.
roster is worse than the Pelicans roster he had that he left to go there.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because remember when Rondo played with AD with New Orleans, that's when they made their deepest run in the playoffs. So I think if Rondo's on that
second round,
I'm just saying, like,
but you make it sound like they were a game 7 away from
okay, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, when you have quote unquote playoff Rondo, like that's a thing now. But like when you have a locked in Rondo, you do get a different caliber of basketball player and a different accountability. on your basketball team. I would say they probably still would have made the playoffs. Obviously, they would not have won the NBA title without LeBron James. I think that goes without saying.
He's mad that I've Russell Westbrook in there. But anyways, those are our top 10.
I love the association.
Our top 10 list right there. So it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. And yes, we are going to switch gears and get back to the NFL as we head into week 14 of the NFL season. But there we go. Chris says, don't the Lakers have four, I'm assuming he meant the number four future Hall of Famers on their team right now? Who's
Last year they did.
But like people, I mean, again, what stage of those Hall of Famers on their career?
Yeah, that's not fair. But like last year,
but he's doing that because he hates LeBron, so he's trying to make it sound like LeBron had 4 Hall of Famers that care. That team is not a playoff team if LeBron is not on it.
Last year, obviously LeBron, AD, Dwight Howard, and Rondo, all those guys are going to make it to the Hall of Fame. Dwight Howard's not the Dwight Howard that he was when he was winning Defensive Player of the Year trophies all over the place and everything like that when he was at Orlando. Matter of fact, how he was with his run that he had with Houston, he's not even that player anymore. Obviously, Rondo isn't the Rondo that was winning championships with the Celtics and everything like that. They're on the back end of their careers. They're still obviously very good basketball players, but yeah, I would say about 4 Hall of Famers on their team last year. They have less Hall of Famers on their team this year, but their team is better because they have better pieces. You know, you get rid of Danny Green for I'm drawing a total blank on Wesley Matthews, who's a better version of Danny Green, you know, and a younger version of Danny Green, a 3-and-D guy. So you get better with less Hall of Famers on your team, if that makes any sense.
Chad, we are getting back to football. Just be patient. I appreciate your patience.
Look, man, don't nothing bring out people's anger like the association. Like, I know the NFL, but like NFL is really regional. Like, people are just talking about their team. In the association, you can go everywhere with it because there's people root for players in the NBA. It's not really like, oh man, this is the hometown team. Like, there's plenty of people out here that rooted for LeBron James when he was with the Cavs. As soon as he went to Miami, they turned into Miami Heat fans. Then when he came back to the Cavs, they were Cavs fans. Now he's with the Lakers, he's Lakers fans. Then you have the batch of Kobe fanatics who really don't even like the fact that LeBron's on the Lakers, but they deal with it because it helps their team get championships. Like the NBA, like then you have your Kevin Durant guys who were mad at KD, that went to go to State, didn't root for him then, but now that he's in Brooklyn, they're back on KD because they love KD.
I still think he's one of the most disliked players in the NBA right now. I think Kevin Durant made fake Twitter accounts to go at people. Like, he's the epitome of what a weak basketball player looks like from that aspect. He has to win a championship to get that respect. Like, LeBron still wasn't liked. He was liked by Cleveland. People still hated him when he went to Cleveland. He was loved after he won in Cleveland, and then it kind of softened a lot of the hatred towards him. I disagree that Durant has turned the hatred around by just going to the Nets. He needs to win.
No. It's talking about his fan base. Like, there's pockets of fan bases. Like, there's guys. Like, guys, I don't care what team they go to. That's the team I'm rooting for. Like, that's how it is in the NBA. You don't see too many guys saying that there were New England Patriots fans that root for Tampa Bay now that Tom's there. No, they're still Patriots fans, and they're dealing with a terrible season. And they're just putting up with it until they can fix it. Like, they didn't jump ship. Like, people stick to their teams in the NFL. People stick to their favorite players in the NBA.
Don says AD left the Pelicans because he didn't want to be second fiddle to Zion. Don, with all due respect, that makes absolutely zero sense. Anthony Davis had no idea Zion was no one in their right mind. For all you people out there who actually believe that the NBA lottery is fixed, I promise you, the first round draft picks that went to Cleveland constantly, and twice in the last decade, the Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick. For anyone out there that actually believes that the NBA lottery is fixed, you have no idea what you're talking about, because the Pelicans got it twice. In the same year, the Pelicans got the number 1 overall pick with Zion on the market, with the Lakers and the Knicks available to get that. They had higher odds than the Pelicans of landing that pick, and the Pelicans got it. So for anyone out there that thinks that the NBA draft lottery is rigged, it is not rigged. I promise you that much. Now, to Don's point, Don, when he left, that was as simple as they weren't going to pay him the money he wanted. They weren't going to be able to He just wasn't going to be there.
He didn't want to be there.
He had been there long enough. I give him credit. He signed that, after his rookie deal, he signed the extension. I like when guys do that. Good for them. They always give a lot. I give the NBA guys credit. They always have their rookie deal. They always sign their extension. It's rare that they stay with their team after that second one. So to me, you have 4 years to enjoy the newborn baby, to take him to families' houses, to take him to friends' houses. It's cute. It's fun. But then they get to that age where they're just kind of awkward and goofy, and their teeth are all falling out and gapped, and they're getting pimples all over their face, and they're just not cute anymore. And they're annoying. They're starting to get that BO smell. It's just like, okay, you were cuter when you were a baby, or get away. When you're 18, I'll be at your graduation party. I'll talk to you then. Leave me alone. That's where they're at. So the NBA has a very important stage after the rookie contract where they have to show that they are committed to that player to win championships. And that's why usually it doesn't work. A lot of times the divorces in the NBA happen because once the I guess we call it the honeymoon stage after the draft happens, you feel like you're well on your way. The exciting, like Zion, he's going to sign his extension here in a few years because he's going to have fun these next couple because there's no pressure. There's no pressure on Zion these next 4 years. Zion just has to be big, strong, exciting, and fun. He's going to sign that extension. Then he's going to feel the pressure to win NBA championships. Then he's going to start taking it a little bit more serious. Then he's going to start to get a little bit more irked because he's going to realize he can't win there because it's just that stars aren't going to come play with him in New Orleans. And then that's when he's going to leave. That's why look at the biggest players that have left their teams lately, Kev. Who was the last player that left their team after the rookie deal?
Never. I'm not going to give I'm normally the player guy on the show, but I'm not going to give them credit for signing those deals. Those are the maximum dollars from the team that they can be on. So what they're normally doing is they're playing out their rookie contract. They sign their extension. That initial extension basically is money to set them up for the rest of their lives. Because you got to think, all right, they're getting their rookie contract, which is fantastic money. They turn instant millionaires. But then to say, all right, you sign your extension, who just signed an extension? Jason Tatum. He just signed a 5-year, $120 million contract. He's not going to turn that down to say, all right, I'm going to be a free agent and go sign a 4-year extension somewhere else for half the money. So they signed a contract. And if things aren't working out halfway through the contract, you run into, I don't want to be here no more. And then they force their way out. And that's how the NBA works. So I'll give them credit. The third contract that they sign on wherever they decide to go, if they decide to go, quote unquote, chase rings or stick it out with their team, whatever, they have every right, man. That's why it's called free agency, man. You and I have the right to, everybody listen to this show. If they don't like their job that they're at, they can go apply for another job somewhere else and go work somewhere else. And nobody's hopping down their back saying, oh, man, you're just money chasing. Hey, man, like it or not, the NBA is a job. It's their job. Yeah, we watch it as entertainment, but it is their job. So it's twofold. They're doing a job and they're trying to win championships to be great. So I really don't knock them anymore. I can be perfectly honest. I was super perturbed when LeBron left the Cavs the first time. Eventually, I got over it. And eventually, I do see the ways. Look, man, this is just their job, man. They got to do what they got to do. They're human. They're people just like us. No one's telling me where I can and can't work. No one's telling you that either. We're making decisions based on what we think is best for ourselves. And that's what happens when NBA free agent. Matter of fact, not NBA free agents, every free agent in sports.
Yeah, and by the way, and Don is saying that AD signed his contract after they drafted Zion. My point, Don, is that he had already made up his mind that he was leaving.
It was a sign and trade
before that. And the thing is, it really wasn't about there was nothing else the Pelicans could have done to prove to him that they were going to win. For one, they were about to blow up the roster to begin with. They were about to reset. Keep in mind that they were about to rebuild again. Anthony Davis wasn't going to stick around. There wasn't a move that they could have made to make them instant contenders. They got some good guys together. They went out and got Boogie Cousins. They had Rajon Rondo. I actually really did like that roster.
Yeah, that roster was good.
That was that playoff team that you talked about that went to the second round. That's the furthest he had made it to the playoffs up into this past season with the Lakers. So with that in mind, at that point, he felt like, oh, man, we should be adding to this roster, not taking away from it. Then they lose Rajon Rondo. Boogie Cousins goes down and he's out. And then there he is facing this losing. He's injured. He comes back. He's healthy. They don't even let him play. They're forcing him to sit out because they were tanking that year. So he was irritated. So he had made up his mind that he was ready to leave a long time ago. So Don, yes, I guess you were right on that aspect. My bad on that. He was technically there when Zion was there, but he had agreed to leave and move on. He wasn't wanting to rebuild. He's 9 years. He's 7 or 8 years into the league.
Right.
He's closer to the back end than he is the beginning. I have no problem with that.
And I think it's going to work out for both teams. I mean, they traded AD to get Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram was a first-time All-Star this year, a 20-point scorer in the NBA. Obviously, they got Zion. They just traded Drew Holiday and got a whole bunch of draft picks. Obviously, they got Zoe as well. So I think it's going to work out for both parties involved. I think that the Lakers, obviously, worked out for them. They won a championship this year and contention to win another one this year. Pelicans are just looking to be around that 4 or 5 seed. And if they make a 4 or 5 seed in the NBA playoffs this year, I say it's a win-win because nobody's looking at the Pelicans to win an NBA championship anytime soon.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, people, because someone else is messaging and saying, well, look, the Pelicans roster is pretty good. I mean, you have Zion, you have Ball, you have Ingram. Imagine if you had AD. Folks, they wouldn't have those pieces. If it was AD and it was Zion, they would have actually been worse last year.
Right.
Like Anthony Davis and Zion would not have been good with no good guards around them. They had nothing. Last year's Zion team was good because you had a good solid point guard in Ball and Drew Holiday, and then Ingram, of course, had that breakout year. A lot of those guys had breakout years because they were a few years in the league already. Those guys aren't there if Anthony Davis doesn't.
Yeah, you can't. They're not coming because you just want them to. You got to ship somebody out to get somebody in.
All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Doug Toby says, sorry, missed the first 2 hours of your show. When golfing, are you jealous? Yes, I absolutely am. I went out to meet Larry from Milano's a little bit ago to pick up our food, and I walked out. I said, I was like, let's go golf. I wanted to just go. I was like, Kev could handle the last couple hours of the show.
They would hate it because it'd be all association. All association. We just did a whole hour on the association. I'm happy now.
Yep, absolutely. So Zion, you have Obi tonight making his debut.
Is that on NBA TV? Let me check.
Can anyone help us out with that? You Dayton Flyers fans, I'm sure they've looked into this, and I should have looked into it too, and I hadn't. For one, I guess I can't watch anything tonight anyway, so that's why I haven't looked into it. But I am curious: is it going to be on ESPN? Is it going to be made available anywhere?
No, it is not. It is not. It is.
So no one can watch the Knicks tonight, huh?
Who wants to watch the Knicks?
He's going to pop up. It's only a matter of time before he has a highlight. What does he have a highlight dunk tonight?
Yes.
No question about it. No question about it.
NBA TV game, 8 o'clock, the Rockets and the Bulls. And then the ESPN game is the Kings and Trailblazers. Obviously, this is preseason NBA basketball. So I'm expecting the rookies to get a lot of burn.
They have to get a lot of burn. Obi just got drafted a few weeks ago. There's no summer league. You've had individual workouts. You've had some trainers. Chad Kinster says no. Maybe no, not on ESPN Plus. No, none of that. No. So either way, regardless, Obi's making his NBA preseason debut tonight. It is just preseason. I'm excited for it though because to Kev's point, rookies are going to get a lot of playing time tonight. You're going to get to see, or at least hear about, or follow a lot about Obi's debut tonight in the association. I'm pretty pumped. I mean, look, I don't really I don't care about what happens with the Knicks this season per se. I mean, it would be cool if they had success. I just hope that roster's not very good. But that roster's not very good, which means there's going to be a lot of playing time for Obi. Even if it was good, Obi's going to be a part of why that team is good. I'm pumped to see the first highlight. Like, it's going to be really cool seeing him in that Knicks jersey, making that first big dunk, just seeing any highlight of him in general. It is preseason, but what's his stat line tonight, Kev?
12 and 5
minutes and points. I agree. What?
Here you go. Here you go.
So 12 points, 5 rebounds. Huh?
Yeah. Something light work.
I say he's going to get 20 minutes. 20 minutes? More than that?
Yeah. No, you're probably right. Probably around 20 minutes.
I'm saying 8 points. 5 rebounds, 2 assists.
That's fair. It's preseason.
Off to a bad start, though. You have scored double digits. Didn't you tell me that today's NBA?
Well, you don't want to. Never mind.
All right, folks. We'll be back in a moment. NFL, I promise. NFL Week 14 picks. I'm going to just tell you this right now. The Cleveland Browns are beating the damn Ravens. They are beating the Ravens.
Making that pick. That's a
I'm
Monday
making that
night
pick.
game.
That
You
Monday night
want to
pick.
save it?
No, I'm not saving nothing. The only thing I'm going to tell you on the other side is how much they win by. And it's not going to be close. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy, a high near 60. Tonight's going to be mostly cloudy with rain, a low around 48. And tomorrow will be cloudy and windy with showers, a high near 60. I'm Pete Spyback for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Give the gift of a Dayton tradition. Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps. Milano's gift cards are the perfect way to give good times and those favorite subs and pizza to family and friends. Right now, for each $25 Milano's gift card you buy, you'll get $5 more free.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app anytime, anywhere. Listen to more than 300 stations along with more than 3,000 podcasts from your home area or across the U.S. all free.
With the radio.com app.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing. No, guys, it's not you. We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again. Safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton at the corner of Meadmore and I-75 or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton. Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tires, service, and accessories. Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
This weekend, get to Kohl's and save even more on holiday gifts with an extra 20 or 15% off. Save big on floor care. Get 15% off select toys and up to 30% off limited edition beauty and fragrance gift sets. Plus, get Gold Cash. Plus, shop our daily deal reveal. Plus, free store pickup. Give with all your heart. Kohl's. Select styles, 20 and 15% offer valid December 10th to December 20th. Promo code Big Savings. Offers and coupons do not apply to toys and beauty. Daily deal reveal valid December 10th to December 14th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
You decided to upgrade your outdoor deck. So you ordered the essentials: a power washer, a set of patio chairs, and a shiny new grill. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential deck addition, a bird feeder. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Where is your haircut gone? We know you don't get out as much. You don't drive by your regular sport clips and pop in for that MVP haircut experience. That is so much more than a haircut. But isn't it worth getting out for? For that legendary hot steam towel for your face, massage and shampoo that makes you melt into your seat. Oh man, you remember that, right? We found your haircut. It's right where you left it. Sport clips. It's good to be a guy.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart. It's how we maximize performance, increase strength, and give you the dependability you demand. We engineer our equipment precisely at every level. It's what makes us a leader. Save up to $11,000 on construction equipment or get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Now through December 31st, 2020. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
See Columbus Equipment Company, 7570 New Carlisle Pike in Dayton. You have an old sports program, baseball, photo, ticket, or game-used equipment just collecting dust? Sports Investments wants to buy your sports memorabilia. They're also interested in old sports cards and also buying political, aviation, and entertainment items. Bring your collectibles to Sports Investments and get a fair value on the spot. If you decide to sell, they'll pay you immediately. Sports Investments is the largest buyer of memorabilia and cards in the area since 1993. Sports Investments also feature the best selection of autographed memorabilia, sports cards, and other collectible items for sale, including all your favorites like Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Bengals, the Browns, the Big Red Machine, UC, XU, UK, NKU, UD, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, just to name a few. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
All those mouths to feed. So many different cravings.
In a world filled with endless dinner options, lives a family ravaged by hunger. The answer lies with one man. No, not just a man, a king, a pizza king.
Get a large Casano's Deluxe pizza for $15.99 or a large pepperoni for just $12.99. Call 294-KING and see for yourself why the proof is in the taste.
Pizza King.
I'm Dr. Baker, an ER physician. If you're having leg pain, swelling, or redness, but haven't talked to your doctor yet, don't wait. This could be deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to your lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism, which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. Your symptoms can mean something serious, so don't wait. Talk to a doctor right away, by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
What's in store this week at your local Staples?
Big deals on paper that are kind of a big deal.
That's because Staples has just reduced their everyday prices on paper.
And so right now, a ream of Staples True Red copy paper is just $4.49 every single day.
Plus, you'll earn 10% back in Staples rewards.
Everyday low prices on True Red copy paper plus 10% back in rewards.
Shop in-store or pick up curbside and save big every day at Staples.
Rewards offer ends 12/26. Limit 3. Curbside available at most stores.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
All right, week 14 of the National Football League. Well, technically officially kicked off last night. The Rams 24-3 over the New England Patriots, and the Rams are now 9-4, 5-1. And for a while it was like trying to figure out who was your odds-on favorite to represent the NFC come Super Bowl time. But that division's interesting. We're so focused on the Seahawks. The Niners had a lot of eyes on them coming into the season. The Cardinals were kind of cute for a little bit with what they're doing with Kyler Murray. The Rams look like the hottest team. They're kind of like the Browns of the NFC right now, because the Browns and the Rams, they've both just been quietly winning all season while everyone's doubting them, especially the Rams who don't look as flashy as they did. Sean McVay, they had one of the hottest offenses in the league a few years ago, still one of the top offenses now, but they don't have Todd Gurley. They don't have their run games aren't as strong. Their wide receivers aren't as good. They don't have Cooks anymore. They've kind of taken a step back, but what they've done is they've got better defensively. Mm-hmm. They're not as explosive offensively, but they're just consistent offensively. The Rams are kind of the Browns of the NFC, where they just continue to get better each year. And right now, they're playing the best football in that division. And you can say outside of the Chiefs, the Browns are close to playing that way right now in the AFC. So don't be surprised to see the difference is the Browns get to the Super Bowl. The Rams are getting to the Super Bowl.
You think the Rams will make it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of anyone else in the NFC. I mean, sure, the Saints have continued to win. They haven't lost since week 3. But you still don't know who they are.
Right.
I mean, people are like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. That's how good they are. They could put anyone in there. I think Drew Brees coming back is going to make them take a step back as he gets reacclimated after coming back after missing that time. Bruised ribs. I mean, come on.
Broken ribs. Fun fact. Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill, under them, they've never lost a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Like
but they don't look as good. Like I'm not impressed.
I'm just saying, like, but you got to give the overall team a lot of credit and coaching staff a lot of credit. You mean to tell me they've lost more games with the Hall of Fame quarterback than 2 backup quarterbacks?
Sample size, though.
But I mean, the Teddy game, they played 6 without him. He won 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like Taysom, they're at 3 now. Like that's 9 games.
Like, no one's lining up. Maybe outside of you to pick Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm just saying
who Bridgewater is though outside of the Saints offense.
That's what I just said. You got to give a lot of credit to the team and the head coach. So that's impressive. I think that's very impressive. I mean, you have one of the best quarterbacks ever to play the game, and the backups haven't lost a game. That's a credit to everybody on that organization.
I'm not going to give them credit for that. That's small because the way you're wording it is as if they're better than him.
No, I am
better
not.
Than him.
I just said the Hall of Fame quarterback. And the backups have held it down, and they haven't lost a game. Giving credit to not only the offense and defense, but the head coach. I'm giving the organization the credit that they deserve. Whatever. You just want me to take a shot at Drew Brees like I was earlier, which I am not. I give Drew Brees a lot of credit. Drew Brees is the man.
Time he inhales.
Never.
I know
Never. Drew Brees is the man, even though we don't agree on a lot of other things. He's the man on the football field.
The Texans and the Bears. Texans a 1.5 favorite. This was just a dead even line, so the Texans have kind of shifted to be the favorite. Look, this is the who cares game right here. I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan. He's quietly, if his team was just slightly better, they're 4-8. If they're close to 500, he's at least in the MVP conversation.
Right.
Deshaun Watson has had that good of a year. His numbers are right up there with Patrick Mahomes. He's that damn good this year, and their offensive line is garbage.
Horrible.
That's why I don't like when people make excuses. Quarterbacks, that's what made Joe Burrow at least somewhat impressive this year to me because, hey, the offensive line was garbage, and yet he was still throwing for 300 yards a game. That's impressive. That's for Deshaun Watson, same thing. My biggest criticism about Baker last year, hey, the offensive line's bad. His play declines. Russell Wilson's offensive line's not that great. They play great. You could still, the great quarterbacks in the league can elevate their games even with an average to bad offensive line. I just don't encourage that you put your quarterback in that position. But I'm picking the Texans.
Picking the Texans as well. The road to them trying to get to 8-8. Man, if they can get to 8-8 after the start that they had, that would be a successful season for the Texans.
Rapid fire: Bengals, Cowboys, Dallas a 3.5-point favorite. Andy Dalton making his return to Cincinnati. Andy Dalton comes back to Cincinnati and he gets a win in Cincinnati, something he couldn't do a lot of last season. I'm picking the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm picking the Cowboys in this game, too. If Joey B was playing, I would definitely pick the Bengals and for him to put up a great stat game, but he's not playing. Cowboys win this game.
Dolphins, Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 7.5-point favorite. This is quietly one of the bigger games of the weekend. My attention's on the Browns and Ravens, but I tell you what, this might be the second biggest game of the weekend. The Dolphins and the Chiefs. The Dolphins, I'm picking the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins get the upset in this game. Not that they're better than the Chiefs, but I'm picking Tua, and this is going to be Tua's breakout game. And maybe it won't be a huge statistical game, but it's going to be that game that puts him and this Dolphins team on the map because they're 8-4. They're waiting for that Titans game that the Browns just had last weekend that got everyone's attention. When the Dolphins beat the Chiefs on Sunday, which I predict they do, that'll be the moment where everyone's like, okay, the Dolphins are someone to fear come playoff time.
Now, obviously, I make my bread at saying I'm not that guy, but I'm not that guy to be rooting for other teams. But I'm rooting for the Dolphins because I need Kansas City to get another loss so my Pittsburgh Steelers can have some more wiggle room here. I am rooting for Miami, but I think the champs are going to win.
Cardinals trying to keep their head above water. They hit the road, take on the Giants. The Cardinals are a 3-point favorite. Back-to-back underdogs I'm picking here. The Giants are playing some of the best football right now out there, as crazy as it sounds. All of a sudden, the NFC East is pretty impressive. I'm picking the Giants over the Cardinals if Daniel Jones plays. I haven't heard an update on if he's playing or not. I'm assuming he's healthy. I'm picking the Giants, bottom line, if Daniel Jones is healthy.
I'm also going with the Giants strictly because of the defense. The defense has been playing lights out. Julius Pepper. Wow. I said Julius Peppers. Peppers from Michigan. He's been balling. He's been playing like he's back at Michigan. So kudos to him, man. So I'm going with the Giants.
Well, yeah, and hopefully he doesn't pull a Michigan and lose. So the Vikings are on the road. They're at the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is a 6.5-point favorite. This is a must-win for the Buccaneers. No, it's not like they'll be eliminated from playoff contention, but from a morale perspective, they desperately need this win. If they lose this, the wheels will fall off, and they desperately need this win. I'm picking the Buccaneers, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Vikings get the W.
I'm going with the Buccaneers because they need it more. I mean, shoot, Minnesota needs it as well, but I think that Tom Brady is like, look, man, I came here to win a Super Bowl and don't make the playoffs in my first year. That can't happen. So I'm going with Tampa Bay. But if they don't win this game, they're not making the playoffs.
Broncos, Panthers, Carolina, 3-point favorites, both 4-8. I mean, this is I don't know who to go with. I guess Carolina, and there's really no analysis with it. I'm just picking Carolina because they're the home team. This is a game I have zero cares about.
Likewise, go with the home team.
All right, on to the next one. The Titans reeling a little bit after that loss to the Browns last week. They did play a much better second half. I think they pick up where they left off and take that momentum here. I don't think they liked getting shellacked last week. I think they need to not just win this game, but they need to come out and kind of get back to what was working for them to start. They know who they are. They know they don't have a great pass rush. The defense isn't their strong point, but the run game is. Ryan Tannehill, he's going to have a big game. The Titans beat the Jaguars.
Bounce back game for the Titans.
Colts, Raiders. Raiders are a 3-point underdog. The Raiders, they should be 6-6. The Jets handed them that game last week. They have struggled as of late. I'm picking the Colts. This is a playoff game. Both teams are desperate. The Colts are holding on for dear life to that 7th spot in the current playoff race right now. The Raiders, they're looking to get back to that spot. I'm picking the Colts in this. They're just playing better overall football right now.
Going with the Raiders. Going with the Vegas Raiders. I think they're going to pull off the upset and try to get to that playoff spot.
Jets, Seahawks. The Seahawks are a 13.5-point favorite. The 8-4 Seahawks are the home team. The Jets are 0-12. With the Seahawks next. Seahawks, I'm assuming.
Seahawks get right.
There you go. Packers, Lions. Lions 5-7. A few weeks removed from firing their head coach or their former head coach and Coach Patricia. Green Bay is a 9-point favorite. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers in the MVP race at this point. He needs to keep that momentum going. I'm picking the Packers in this one, but don't be surprised if the Lions make it a close one.
Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams have their way.
And that's where I have a bye week in my fantasy team, but I have Devontae Adams. For watch, I'll have the biggest week of the entire season this week. But I need him to be ready to go this week.
For $180.
Oh, exactly. Saints, Eagles. We get to see Jalen Hurts make his NFL debut. The Saints looking to keep their winning streak going. They haven't lost since week 3. They are 10-2. The Saints. Who you rolling with? Yeah, I'm going to pick the Eagles are going to play motivated football because of Jalen Hurts. I always go with when the team is debuting a quarterback. I usually always go with that team if it's like a legit quarterback, not like any old quarterback. Like you know what I mean? Like when the Dolphins had Tua, when you get when Justin Herbert, when the Chargers got him, there's just something exciting. Like when the Browns, they were just dead in the water when they played the Jets in Baker's rookie year. He comes in at the end of the second half and they were a completely different football team. We saw just how much the Bengals changed with Joe Burrow. I'm going to pick the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. It's not because they're better, but the Saints have been rolling. If Drew Brees does come and play, he's not going to be 100%. They're going to be trying to ease him back. I just don't think you're going to see the Saints 100% on Sunday, and I think Jalen Hurts gets them another win. I think they're 4-8-1 when it's all said and done.
Saints win this game. The New Orleans Saints backup quarterbacks stay undefeated.
Falcons, Chargers, Atlanta, a 3-point favorite. The Chargers got shellacked against the Patriots last week. At this point, I'm picking the Falcons. Veteran team, Matt Ryan, picking the Falcons. So there you go. Washington Niners, San Francisco, a 3-point favorite. I'm picking Washington in this. They're rolling right now. I'm a huge Alex Smith fan. How about his story, man?
Oh, man, that's awesome.
I thought it was like, okay, he's back. He's not going to get a lot of the reps. No, the Washington football team, they're winning this one. They're going to make this sense. They could, but when it's all said and done, be the one that represents the NFC East. And it's because of that defense, and it's because of Chase Young. Give Washington a lot of credit. This isn't going to be one of those, the worst team left standing in the East. You're starting to see the Giants and Washington develop and get better as the season goes on. We've been making fun of this division all year. Those two teams playing good football. Washington, not easy to watch, but that defense and Alex Smith in the run game for Washington makes them kind of dangerous heading into the playoffs a little bit.
Very dangerous with that pass rush. I'm going to go with the Washington football team as well.
Steelers, Bills. Buffalo, a 3-point favorite. Steelers, they lost their first game of the season. I hate to say it's a must-win for them, but it is a must-win for them because they're trying to get that 1 seed right now, and they've already lost the game. The Browns are playing hot right now. not only can the Steelers end up risking losing the number 1 seed in the AFC, they could end up, when it's all said and done, possibly losing the AFC North title. That's still a long shot, but it's not that crazy when you look at how hot the Browns are playing right now. The Steelers are regressing. You got a good Bills team coming in.
Very good.
The Ravens aren't the best right now, so there's just a lot of things going in favor of Cleveland. Steelers need to get this game on Sunday, but the Bills are playing too good of football. I'm picking the Bills.
I'm going with Buffalo to win this football game.
Wow, good for
Steelers. I'll save it till
I said good for you. I said like that was a compliment. A-hole.
Asshole. Me picking against my team. Obviously, I'm rooting for my team to win the game. I think Buffalo's going to win this game simply because they're clicking on all cylinders right now. Pittsburgh Steelers need this game that they got coming up against the Bengals to get right. You know what I'm saying? Get their confidence back, get their swagger back, heading into games against the Colts and the Browns to finish out the season. So I think they're going to lose this game, but then start to get their swag back towards the end of the regular season.
Ravens, Browns, Monday Night Football. As we wrap things up here and close it out heading into the weekend, the Baltimore Ravens are a 2-point favorite. They're on the road. Cleveland, one of the hottest teams, not just in the AFC, but all of football. Yeah, Baltimore's favored by 2. The Browns are 9-3. They're 5-1 at home. They will be 10-3, 6-1 at home. They beat the Ravens. It'll be a close one. I was joking earlier when I said they blew them out. It's going to be close. It's going to be close because, look, I think Baker's not going to do what he did last week against the Titans. Baltimore's defense is just too good. They're just too good. Even though they're not playing the best defensive football right now, this is still the most defensive talent that Baker has faced in quite a few weeks. That pass rush, the secondary, they're going to be more of a challenge. But again, it's not up to Baker. It's up to the run game. The run game, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, that offensive line, Baker's confidence mixed with, they know who they are now. The Browns defense just needs to make sure they do as best a job they can to contain Lamar Jackson so Lamar doesn't have that breakout game. Lamar's been flat for weeks. If he ends up having that breakout game, the Browns are in trouble. I'm picking the Browns in this. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be an AFC North battle. These are 2 really good football teams. I'm not used to saying that between the Browns and Ravens. We're used to the Ravens being good. 2 really good football teams, but the Browns, they're getting this one. This is going to be their staple win of the season coming up, 10-3.
Get your popcorn ready. 24-21, Browns win this game.
24-21?
Yep.
I'm going to go 27-20, Browns win this one.
Get your popcorn. It's going to be exciting.
I say 27-28, 28-27, don't matter.
It don't matter as long as the Browns win.
The Browns are winning coming Sunday or Monday night. So there you go. All right, folks, have a great night. Keep checking out the Facebook page. We'll have an update as far as what time we're going to be out at Timothy's Bar and Grill tomorrow for the Dayton Flyers pregame. It was supposed to be a noon tip-off. Now it's a 3 p.m. tip-off. Mississippi State Dayton Flyers live from Atlanta. So we're going to be at Timothy's Bar and Grill. Follow me on go to the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page so you know where to find us tomorrow. On Sunday, we'll be live at Frickers for the Sunday morning tailgate show. Live from Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall, 11:30 to 1. Have a great weekend, everybody.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.